At the Jerry Bullitt Training Center, we truly believe experience is the best teacher. With over 50 combined years of knowledge and experience in sports performance and athletic training, our coaches understand exactly what it takes to achieve your goals. Contact Melvin Bullitt at 214-326-7853 or visit their brand new facility just outside of Waterview at 8900 Princeton Road in Rowlett.
Being taken for a ride? Check out Costlow Insurance, serving Texans since 1981. Bundle your home, auto, or business insurance to save a ton. Costlow Insurance on the corner of Main Street and Rowlett Road, where we make insurance fun. Or check us out on the web at CostlowInsurance.com, where we always have the coffee pot on.
Yeah, but is it fresh?
Welcome to the Couch Potato Sports Show,
your internet radio home for all sports, news, and talk.
Join Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio,
and the Eagle Eye,
Bill Cerna,
and the best co-host anyone could ask for,
Cuervo. We cover it all.
NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, as well as indoor football and high school sports.
Now, it's time. Here's Sonny Clark.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio. Not dealing with Blog Talk this morning. Tried to get this thing set up on Blog Talk, not worried about it. What we'll do is we'll take the audio and we'll throw it over on Blog Talk Radio. It won't be live, but not too worried about that in reality. Lots of people watching us here on the new video stream, so that's exciting for us as we get ready to rock and roll. And Cuervo, I don't see your stream, so if you're listening, take a step out and then come back in, and then we'll get you back squared away. Same thing with my brother Dennis, and then we can get this all squared away. Let me see here. Let me just go here. Let's go here. That being said, let me just check a couple things and then we'll be up on air. Yes, sir. All right. So we are all set and ready to go. I'm not too worried about what's going on over on Blog Talk Radio. We'll get all that part figured out. And let me just take a look as Cuervo is still not on there. So we'll bring Cuervo in a couple of minutes. And after I get a screen from him, and we'll be all set and ready to go. That having been said, good morning. Welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It's week number 15 of the NFL. And speaking of that, I don't even have the stuff down. Day late and dollar short as we were trying to work through some things on Blog Talk Radio, and as far as the video was concerned, to try to get us going and get us on air. So welcome into the show. Week 15, important week in reality for a lot of football teams that are out there getting all set and ready to go into the playoffs. Some teams fighting for the playoffs as far as that is concerned. And one of the things that is important when you look at a lot of things, you have to see where your team is, or some teams, depending on where you're looking at as far as if your team's out of it, what's going on in the playoffs and things of that sort. So we got all that part. It's not all figured out because there's a lot of things that can happen the last 3 weeks. Remember, this is week 15. We got 16 and 17 left to go in the NFL. So an exciting time here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. And it is holiday time. Welcome to the show. And I will take the banner off that is scrolling on the bottom that says 1 minute. We are on air. So welcome into the show. I'm excited about the week 15 because of where teams can end up and what teams have a possibility of making the playoffs compared to not making the playoffs. So that's very interesting to me as far as that is concerned. We can kick it back to Thursday night's show and find out what you think about our Thursday night's game. Find out what you think about those games as far as that is concerned. And what I'm going to do just really quick, just to make sure that I'm not having a problem on the stream. I'm trying to get Cuervo up on the stream. I'm not sure where he is. So hopefully we'll be able to get him up on this thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick break here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. When we'll come back, we'll see if we can get Cuervo up online as well to try to get this thing all squared away. So bear with us as I'm trying to get Cuervo in. We'll be back here. Take a listen to some of our sponsors here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a new home? Want to know what your house could sell for in today's market? Then you need to contact Realtor Jeremy Morgan with Ray Hubbard Real Estate Group at Keller Williams Rockwall. Whether you're buying, selling, leasing, or investing, he can help you get where you need to be. That's 214-236-2914. Jeremy Morgan with Ray Hubbard Real Estate Group, Keller Williams Rockwall. Richardson, Texas. Look out. SOAR Championship Wrestling presents SOAR Mania, Thursday, February 13th at the Richardson Civic Center. Bell time is at 7:30. This Mania you don't want to miss.
And check out me at SOAR Mania. We'll be bringing you the commentary. This one will be televised. We'll be doing a pay-per-view on that one. SOAR Mania, February 23rd, along with my co-host and my co-commentary guy, Trey Mack, the legend in his own mind, up on the commentary for that. We are week 15 here on the Couch Potato Sports Show, and we'll be talking about the NFL and talking about the games. But I want to switch on back to Thursday night's football games because there was an interesting situation as far as that's concerned. We saw Lamar Jackson go ahead, break Michael Vick's record, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of blah, blah, blah about that in reality. And I say that because I really didn't, I'll be honest, I didn't even watch it. I didn't even want to waste my time. I'd much rather watch reruns of Boston Legal, which is exactly what I did. And all that is concerned. But I'll bring him in. Hey, why don't you warn people before you get on air? Oh, my God. It's my brother, DC Dennis Clark, DC Jukebox Jams. How you doing? Good morning.
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm excited and ready to rock and roll. Get on with week 15. Got to find.
Hopefully, you're able to hear me okay. I've been having some audio problems.
Perfect. You're much better now. I couldn't hear you when we did the quick test, as far as that's concerned. But you sound great now, so we're doing good. So I don't know. I know you watched the game on Thursday. I did.
Yes, I did.
And so, are you impressed with Lamar Jackson, or are you not?
I like to watch him play. I just don't think that his style of football is going to last very long. He's going to get slaughtered out there.
It's what it seems like, because there's one of the things that I was talking about, and there's a lot of comparison. And just yesterday morning on my way to work, I listened to a guy by the name of Robin Lundberg in the morning on Saturday morning. He is the only guy that I like to sit and listen to, and I like him. I like his setup. So, normally I don't take the time to pick up the phone to do anything or call anybody, but I did call into that show. So I was, that whole thing was hopefully okay, cool. Talk about the master of technical difficulties. That's what ends up happening on a Sunday morning. My computer just crashed, but not the one that's obviously doing this one. It's the extra one that I use when I look at the game. So that being said, so you sound like a lot of people who think that, his style of play is one of those things that's going to end up getting him murdered out on the football field.
Oh, yeah. It's only a matter of time. A quarterback that don't stay in the pocket is doomed.
Well, and it's quite funny. Some people say that when they are in the pocket, that is when they get doomed. So 6 1, half a dozen the other. But it's just been a proven fact in reality is that when a quarterback stays in the pocket, the chances of him getting hurt are a lot less than the guy. I mean, all you got to do is look at his backup. RG3 is his backup, and that guy just got slaughtered. So, I don't know if he's out there teaching him, saying, "Hey, watch out for this. So you're gonna get nailed," and things like that. Not sure if that's happening or not. But that being said, you look at the overall aspect of the quarterback position and you go, oh my gosh, this guy's not going to last 2 or 3 years.
Oh yeah. No, he'll be lucky to finish the season. Once he gets hit really hard by one of those big defensive linemen, he's going to be wondering what state he's in.
That sometimes that's what ends up happening as far as that is concerned. So I'm going to pop you down and I'm going to bring on the fine co-host of this program here on a Sunday morning. There he is, Mr. Bears fan himself. He just can't help it. He's wearing that Bears jersey, and I don't even know if the Bears are even going to make the playoffs, my man. But hey, pride and true, right to it. I know that dirty look I get from Cuervo on a fine Sunday morning. How you doing, my friend?
Some Bears fan you are, Sonny.
Hey,
How are you this morning, my friend?
I'm doing great. I'm a bear realist, is what I am. So when I look at who's going to be playing and who's going to be doing what, sometimes I picked down. I really thought the Dallas Cowboys would beat your Bears. No offense, mainly because it's that kind of setup. But I don't know. I'm just going to ask you, since we have our locals here that listen to the show, and they'll be popping up online here and watching this one. You're looking at the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles fighting for that position. There's only going to be one team coming out of that division. So two teams fighting for it, that being the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm not even understanding why everybody's shocked that Jason Garrett's still the head coach of this football team. It's as bad as they are in first place within that division. So that being said, this game, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm rebooting my computer, but I think the Dallas Cowboys have the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia today. So pretty much when you it's actually week 16, I think.
No, that was last week, Sonny.
Yeah, so it's week 15 today, but it's either today the Cowboys get the Philadelphia Eagles or next week. I'm not sure. Hold on. I am sure because I got it right in front of me as soon as I hit a button.
There you go.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing when you look at things. So here it is. The schedule's up, and now that's not going to want to move. There it goes. All right, so the Dallas Cowboys are on the road. Of course. Why work fast when I want them to work, Cuervo? My computer is not wanting to work as fast as I want.
I got you, Sonny. I got you. This is why I'm your co-host. They play your brother's Rams today, actually.
Oh, that's right. The Rams. So, an interesting thing with that one, as far as that game is concerned, the Rams has been playing halfway decent the last 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks. Now, you go the weeks before that, you had a team that was in disarray. It didn't seem like they had a chemistry. Didn't seem like they knew what they were doing or where they were. Mm-hmm. So that having been said, Cuervo, when you look at that game, and that game is it in Dallas or is it in LA?
It's in Dallas.
It is in Dallas. So the Dallas Cowboys get the quote unquote, if you want to call it, the home field advantage. If that's what you want to call it, you can. So that should be an interesting game today, but it's going to be the game next week that I'll probably figure out what's going to be as far as the division is concerned, as far as the NFC East. That is if the Dallas Cowboys don't lose this game and Philadelphia just keeps winning. So if the Dallas Cowboys lose and the Philadelphia Eagles win today, and we'll get to that schedule here in just a moment. If that ends up happening, even when they go into that game that happens, head to head, it might not even matter because Philadelphia has, if I'm not mistaken, either Washington last game and
today.
Okay, but next at the end of the season, I think they have either Washington or the Giants. I'll check that as soon as my computer decides that it wants to spin off the speed I want it to.
I got you. So you want week 17? Is that what you're looking for?
Well, week 16, week 17 is where we can figure out what's going to end up happening for the Dallas.
Yeah. So for week 17, I'll tell you. For week 17. The Eagles and Giants are going to go at it, so that means it'll be Cowboys, Redskins.
Yeah, and so not only that, both of those divisional games, and depending on what Philadelphia does today, and that's always something to kind of look at, because I don't know what the Dallas Cowboys are going to do today. We're gonna go through that game, take a look at it, and then we'll picks for it and get it squared away. And the Philadelphia Eagles. Who do the Philadelphia Eagles have? Seeing how you have the schedule in front of you, and when my computer boots all the way back up, I can find out who do the Eagles have today.
They have Washington in Washington.
They have Washington. So in theory, if you think about that game, all these division games, they're slobber knockers right here in the NFC East. And with as bad as the NFC East is right now, Cuervo, the question is if Philadelphia drops that game, that is going to be a killer for them in reality, because they don't need
they don't need to have the problems that they're going to have going into it. The game is at home. The Rams seem to have found what they are doing to get together and playing good for the last 2 weeks. If they keep it up in this one, they can maybe bury the Dallas Cowboys in the meantime, especially if Washington or the Eagles get the victory against Washington. So we'll talk about those games. We're going to cover them all here on the Couch Potato Sports Show as soon as Sonny finds his couch potato pen. I cannot find my pen to save my life, and I thought I dropped it on the floor. I did. I dropped it on the floor. It's out of reach. But that being said, Cuervo, you got the schedule in front of you. What games are you going to be looking at today? I mean, I think when I did kind of a little preview when I was on my show, just because I wanted, there's some good games happening there here in Week 15.
These games are how do you say it? Big time, showdowns where it's like two teams of really good records going at each other. But this is the time of the season where a lot of the games are very important. So I give you a prime example. I'm looking at this Houston-Tennessee game. Houston lays an egg last week at home against the Denver Broncos. And so I want to see how they bounce back in that game. On the other hand, you got Denver going to Kansas City. Mm-hmm. Let's see.
I think your team has a tough one because they get to kind of play spoiler, maybe depending on what's going to be end up happening. Because Minnesota and Green Bay all just right there at the top. So your Bears have the Green Bay, your beloved Green Bay Packers, and Minnesota. And since I got the schedule up, I can finally see it. Minnesota's on the road taking on the Chargers today in LA. So your team and Minnesota on the road within division play. This one could be important. This week could be huge, especially depending upon the standings and how they are. And just looking at the standings in the NFC North, my computer's actually finally working and moving in a better pace than it normally does.
There you go.
As far as the NFC North right now, it's Green Bay at 10-3. Philadelphia, Mark, that just moved up. Minnesota at 9-4. So if Minnesota gets the victory and Green Bay loses today, they'll be all knotted right up there at 10. Right now, it's Green Bay at 10-3. Who am I getting back? I'm getting myself background. Hold on. Okay. All right. So I lost it. So if Minnesota wins, they'll get to their 10th win. If Green Bay loses, they'll be 10-4 as well. So that whole division will be that head-to-head thing and how they were. And I got to find Green Bay 6-1 within the division. Minnesota is 6-0 within the division. So mark that 3-0 for Green Bay and division, 2-2 for the Minnesota Vikings. So it's with the head-to-head. And so it's an important game in reality more for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, it is. Because, I mean, they're the team that needs to win this game to keep their playoff hopes alive. And, now it's not a divisional game, but you're talking overall record and in order to keep that wild card spot, you got to keep winning football games, even whether they're division or not. You have to keep winning. So that's just the way it goes.
And right now, if it ended now, we'd look at Seattle in the wild card and Minnesota in the wild card. Seattle with 10 victory, Minnesota with 9. The other teams are fighting back there at around 8 and 7. Let's see here. The Rams are 8-5. So an important game for the Rams is they're on the road as far as the wild card is concerned. So that's something to keep an eye out on that as well. So lots of things happening in today's this week as far as the games are concerned. Now, let me just jump to you really quick. You watched, I don't know if you watched Thursday Night Football. I didn't even take time to watch it because I knew who was going to win. It was just a waste for me to sit there and try to get, I
didn't even try.
Yeah, it was, but, breaking the records and everything. And I guess I'm going to ask you, Cuervo, are you impressed?
Sonny,
Yeah.
I didn't hear your question.
Oh, are you impressed with Lamar Jackson breaking Michael Vick's record?
I mean, don't get me wrong; it's an impressive accomplishment. To be able to be a dual. So that we talk about dual threat quarterbacks all the time, and we have our criticisms about them. But to do what he's doing at the level that he's doing it, you can't ignore that. You can't dismiss it. You have to at least acknowledge it and give the man some credit, whether you like the style of football that he plays at quarterback or not. Look, you got to give the man his respect, because I'm not saying he's breaking the mold as far as dual threat quarterbacks are concerned, but at least for this season, he's getting it done. So
He's getting it done. Definitely.
yeah. So that's the way I look at it. I mean, I'm not campaigning for, dual threat quarterbacks are finally paving the way in the NFL, and because till the day I stop watching football, or I'll always be a believer in the traditional pocket passer. That'll never stop. But but for him to be doing what he's doing at the level that he's doing it, you got your average Joes out there. But I'm gonna tell you right now, Lamar Jackson's not your average Joe. He's far surpassed that. So right now, and a lot of people aren't going to like it, he's playing better than Patrick Mahomes. He's playing better. He's playing better than just about any quarterback in the league right now.
And interesting that you mentioned Patrick Mahomes. As we were starting, I was listening. There's a show. There's not too many shows that I listen to, Cuervo. Really not. Because
I know you're very selective, Sonny. You're very selective.
I'll listen to just because I have like a couple of minutes. I won't spend a lot of time on them. On Saturday morning on CBS Radio, okay, there's a guy by the name of Robin Lundberg. Okay, I like this guy. Okay, guy's like 42 years old. He's a lot younger than me, a little bit older than you, and so he kind of fits in the middle. And normally, I don't feel like picking up the phone and calling people. I don't, especially radio shows, because first of all, you never know if you're going to get in, and second of all, if you do, how long you're going to be on hold and all that good stuff. So it's all part of it. It's all part of the mix. So on my way to work, I decided that I was going to call the Robin Lundberg show on Saturday morning. And I did get through, and I did speak with Robin. And he was talking about who would you take now? Who would you go with? Would you go with a Lamar Jackson, or would you go with a Patrick Mahomes type of person? So what I did is I went in, I grabbed it up. This is me with Robin Lundberg here Saturday morning. It was 5:00 in the morning. So, but now I was wide awake too. So this is me with Robin Lundberg on Saturday morning. Take a listen.
Let's go to Sonny in Dallas. Sonny, you're up next here on CBS Sports Radio. What's up?
Hey, Robin, you need to be on the air more. Love your show.
Appreciate it.
As far as the question is concerned, it just really depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about for the quick future, just like this year, yeah, I'm all over Lamar. But as far as longevity, as far as your franchise, maybe, I would probably have to go to Patrick Mahomes, because sooner or later, just like the Wildcat and just like all the other new nuances that happens in the NFL, they're going to get figured out. Give me defensive coordinators, give me 3 years, they'll figure it out. And sooner or later, everybody's going to be back to the pocket passer. I love
there you go.
I don't know about that, Sonny. I don't think we're going to go back to the pocket pass, because there's just another dimension to running the ball. And Lamar Jackson is a pocket pass. I mean, he's been the numbers say I think he's been the best pocket passer in the NFL this year.
Well, when you look at quarterbacks and you talk about quarterbacks and how they throw a football, you're talking about quarterbacks who can throw 275 yards a game. I mean, and no offense against
there you go.
Do that on a consistent level. And so when you look at those numbers and kind of, look at greatness. Now, granted, he has a way of making up for what he can't do. That's why I'm saying, for the near future, maybe go with it. But sooner or later, this kind of guy is going to have to figure out how to become a pocket passer because the defenses will be there. Just the Wildcat is one of the biggest examples I have in that, is because it took about 3 years before defensive coordinators figured it out, and now you don't even see it really hardly used.
But the Wildcat was more of a gimmick because it didn't have quite as sustainable variations of it. I mean, I wouldn't say that what the Ravens are running is a gimmick. They're just running a structure that benefits Lamar Jackson, because they are running pocket pass plays. They are running option plays. They are running straight ahead running plays. And so basically what they're just trying to do is leverage his skill set.
And Cuervo, that whole thing, that was the give and take with me on the Robin Lundberg show yesterday. Yeah. But to be honest, Cuervo, you can say yes or no, it don't matter. But if the Wildcat actually continued to work, it wouldn't have been considered a gimmick. So the reason why it's considered a gimmick is because it was figured out. And just like I said when I was talking to Robin Lundberg, you give these defensive coordinators time, they're going to figure out a way to stop Lamar Jackson.
Absolutely.
You're not going to stop a pocket passer, okay? The only way that you can stop a pocket passer is get to the quarterback, okay? Once they figure out how to get to a running quarterback, or all of a sudden the type of player who is a running quarterback and doing what Lamar Jackson does, his accuracy will, I'm telling you right now, it will fade away. The fences will be all over this. You'll have the safeties and the corners playing off of the wide receiver to sucker him in on a throw, and you'll end up seeing some more interceptions and things like that because they'll have more time to scheme up against it. And that's the part where the Wildcat was not a gimmick. It was a design play to make it. Yes. Now, did they run it all the time? No. But if you remember back in the day when the Miami Dolphins were running it, they were running it 60% of the time. Now, same thing with Lamar Jackson. If you look at what he does, he's a pocket passer for about 40% of the time. He's running the ball about 60. So maybe just a little bit more, but still. I'll tell you right now, if that would have continued and actually worked, Cuervo, it wouldn't have been considered a gimmick. It would be considered a scheme, and it would still be being used to this day.
Right, but like you said, I mean, it got figured out over time, and I think teams see. Well, here's the other thing too. So teams did not evolve the Wildcat. They continue to run it the same exact way every single time, and that's why the Wildcat stopped working. And it's going to be the same, and it could be the same thing for the offense that Baltimore runs that benefits Lamar Jackson right now. So that's the difference between a guy like a Bill Belichick and the rest of the league. And a lot of people are probably throwing up in their mouth right now because I'm going to jump on the New England Patriots for a second. Bill Belichick, what makes him so great, and we've had this discussion before on the show, Sonny, is that he, and this goes for Nick Saban at the college level too, he understands that you have to constantly evolve in certain ways in this league. If you continue to try to do the same thing the same way, that's when teams figure it out, and that's when it stops working. If John Harbaugh in Baltimore falls into that same trap and says, "Oh, look at how it worked for us this year. Let's go ahead and we're going to do it again next year," that's when teams fall into the trap of my scheme works. Yes, your scheme does work, but you have to make those small adjustments that teams are starting to figure out. Again, I mean, I know you mentioned too on that talk show with Robin Lundberg that you'd rather have Patrick Mahomes. How's Patrick Mahomes doing this year? Is he producing the way he was last year? No. Number one, yes, I understand he got injured. But you look at his play on the field, his numbers have drastically dropped. Drastically.
No, Cuervo. I think you need to take
They have.
They
dropped.
How many games did he miss? You think about that. He's over 3,000 yards passing right now at this juncture. So I don't think his numbers dropped off more so than we've seen him miss a couple of games. And now, has he been explosive on what we've seen last couple of years? No, but I still think he's still injured, because before he got injured, the guy just took off like he did at the end of the season last year. So he started off the year. He's slowed down a little bit. I don't think he's completely 100%, but I think he's coming to the pass. But he's over if I'm not mistaken, he's about over 3,200 yards. He's got over 20 touchdown passes as well. Not the same numbers, but considering the fact that it was the injury, and also I don't know how many other quarterbacks have thrown for more yards than he has so far this year. I don't think it's more than three quarterbacks that have thrown for over 3,000 yards. I'll look that up since my computer's up and running. But when I was talking to Robin Lundberg on the Robin Lundberg show, it seemed to me that he seems to think that the Lamar Jacksons of the world, okay? And I say that because we're going to see more of these guys. We already have some in there. Deshaun Watson, if you take a look at him, he's kind of that way. Russell Wilson, to a certain extent, he will stay in the pocket, okay? But he will take off. But that offense is not built around him running. But Deshaun Watson is one, and a couple of others in the NFL. Do you foresee seeing this to be the future of the NFL, or do you think we'll see it come back and everybody relax and get back to the pocket passer?
I think eventually it'll go back to that, just because I think, defenses, like you said, they adjust. And if offenses aren't willing to play chess and they just sit back and keep trying to do the same thing throughout the season and whatnot, and they don't make those small adjustments, then that's where teams will not have the same production as they did at from the beginning. So it's like I mentioned before. I mean, you even every week you make small adjustments. You find different ways to it could be as simple as running a certain play, but in a different formation. I mean, if you want to run some sort of tight end post route, and you run it normally from an I formation, maybe try it with the single back or split back or something like that, because that's what will keep defenses guessing. If you continue to do the same things the same way, that's when defenses will figure you out. So that's on OCs, offensive coordinators, to create different ways to disguise what they're doing. And I think that's what is making a team like New England's defense so great this year, because they don't do anything different. They make it look different, and it confuses offenses.
Now, and really quick, as far as this, and what we're going to do is we're going to take we'll take a break, our regular break here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. But before we get to that, there is one guy that's very happy that Lamar Jackson is at the starting position, at the quarterback position, and that's when Jim Harbaugh. I'm going to tell you right now, he saved his time in Baltimore, because if you just go back before he actually hit the field, Cuervo, we were talking about it on our show. Jim Harbaugh's on the hot seat. He was getting griddle marks on his ass, whether or not he was going to remain the coach there in Baltimore. Now he's got the luxury of having the guy that's helped him out, that being Lamar Jackson, and really in reality solidified his career to at least 2 more years in Baltimore.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think Harbaugh has definitely saved his job, and you're right. I mean, nobody's more thankful for Lamar Jackson than John Harbaugh is, because chances were he was probably going to be unemployed by the end of the season if it wasn't for that change and for the production and the breakthrough that Lamar Jackson has had this year. So. Now let's, before we say that John Harbaugh is 100% safe when they get to the playoffs, depending on if it's a bye week or they get the wild card or whatever. Let's see how he does on his second attempt in a playoff game.
Yep.
And if they completely fall on their face again, who's to say that John Harbaugh still doesn't get the can?
I don't know. I don't think they get the can. In fact, if they are listen, this is the time. Okay, as fans, as commentators, as we are, but the organization. Okay, those are two different things. Okay, if the organization expects them to win the Super Bowl or get too very far in the playoffs, they're nuts. Okay, now it's fans, it's commentators. We're sitting here going, yeah, Super Bowl, big times in the playoffs. In reality, if you expected Lamar Jackson to take you to the Super Bowl in his second year, and it's not even his second year, he just really finished up his first year in reality last week because he came in at about week 14 or maybe 13 last year. So he's got 1 year up under his belt. I don't think that the organization expects a Lamar Jackson, especially knowing what type of player he was going to take him to the Super Bowl. If they did, they need some kind of crazy. They need some meds. They need to go get drug tested, because I'm going to tell you right now, if you thought Lamar Jackson as a franchise was going to lead you to the Super Bowl, you are absolutely ridiculous, and I don't think so. Now, fans and everybody else sees the production out on the football field and go, yeah, Super Bowl. And come on, it's not realistic, okay? I'm not saying they won't make the Super Bowl. I'm not saying they won't shock anybody. I'm not saying that they're not even a good football team. That would be ignorant of me to say, okay? But at the same time, don't expect them in the Super Bowl. You got too many AFC teams out there that could probably maybe get, but at the same time, no one's been able to really stop this guy. They only have 2 losses out on the season. And, they're 12-2 for God's sake. They're riding an 8-game winning streak, 9-game winning streak. After the victory on Thursday Night Football, and who's to say it won't continue into the next week? So you got that to look at as well. So lots of things to think about as far as Lamar Jackson is concerned, as far as the Baltimore Ravens are concerned. John Harbaugh, definitely. I even if they get bounced in the first round, he's going to be the coach of that football team next year. There won't be any hot seat, because now the only hot seat that would end up happening is by week 5, they might be 1-4 or 2-3. Maybe they might be looking at him going hot seat, but I think he's kind of solidified himself 2 more years in Baltimore.
Well, I guess it all depends, like you said, on how this carries over into next season. And if they completely fall on their face, it's just going to be looked at as, it was a gimmick. It was not a scam, but just a gimmick that worked for 1 season.
Yeah. And then we can go back to what I said on the Robin Lundberg show that yesterday morning, which, again, I don't know. I must have been on drugs, because I normally don't even take the time. But I kind of respect the guy. It's the only reason why I called into his show compared to any other ones that are out there. Now, what I was going to do, and I threatened to do it, was to go to break, but can't do that. By the way, got Ron James, the Eagle fan, saying hi. You know who he is. Do you know him? Or is he one of my – yeah, you know who he is.
No, it's one of my guys.
Yeah, and Steel City Storm out there. Todd Minn's in there. But before we're going to do this, I was going to go to break, but I don't know how long he has. So I'm going to bring on – this guy's so good looking, it's scary. There he is. It's Mike from Brooklyn. How you doing?
Hey, boys.
The resident, Steeler
What's up?
Let's talk the Sunday Night Football. In reality, it's Buffalo at Pittsburgh. We're deciding whether or not that Buffaloes are pretenders or contenders. They disappointed me last week, but they were playing Baltimore. No great big surprise that Baltimore got the victory there. I would have liked to see Buffalo. I would have loved to see Buffalo stuff that. That would have just been great for me. But you guys are going to have to figure out how you're going to stop one Lamar Jackson.
Wow. First, good to see you too. Sonny, looking very dapper in your picture with your hat and your suit on.
Yeah.
I saw that profile picture, man. Looking good. Like that.
Very. Yeah.
Cuervo rocking the Urlacher jersey, man. I love it.
That's right, baby.
You know what? The first couple of things, because you're right. I don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to jump on before I head out and say Steelers put on a good show last week against the Cardinals.
Yes, they did.
And I was so happy. I didn't bring this up last week to see us end the Brown season. Oh, it was so great.
Yeah,
I loved it. So now I just had to say that on to this game. 5-star Slabanaka tonight. Oh, it's going to be a great game. I'm really looking forward to it. You know, this is going to be, I think, one of those 16-9 games. That's how Pittsburgh's going to have to win it.
They always do it.
Yeah, that's the way we're going to have to do it because, you know, this defense is first of all, it's very well coached. They're a very well coached team. Leslie Frazier is a very good defensive coordinator, and they're doing Leslie Frazier type things. Like they don't get a lot of turnovers, but they're super sound. You know, statistically, they're ranked high in all the categories. They don't miss assignments. They don't blow coverages. They've got good talent on all levels. Tremaine Edmonds is good. Tre'Davious White is really good. They've got talented defensive line. They're just a solid defense. So, you know, Pittsburgh's going to have their work cut out for them. Pittsburgh has a terrible, terrible streak of a turnover in 20 straight games. That is terrible. That has to end. You can't give a team that only has 16 turnovers on the year, or 16 takeaways rather, turnovers and extra possessions. That's going to kill you, so you can't do that.
Yep.
On offense, Pittsburgh averages, I think, a touchdown a game. That's not going to get it. You know, that may have to get it done because the defense will have to step up, but hopefully they could do more than that because this defense is going to be really tough to move the ball on. Offensively, you know, the Bills have John Brown and some good speed, also very well coached. I think we can take advantage of the front seven because our defense, I think, is the top 2 or 3 defense in the league. But we're going to have to get pressure like the Ravens did last week.
Yep.
We manufactured for 4, so hopefully we can do that. And then you got to keep Josh Allen in the pocket and put helmets on him and hit him hard. Because,
Bryce, really, in reality, I think it does come down to Duck. And Duck has been playing very well. I mean, he's been 5 games, 2 interceptions. But here's the problem is you look at this, 6 sacks. They're going to have to protect him a little bit more, especially against the Raven defense that would be coming up on Cuervo. That front 6 there for the Baltimore Ravens is going to get in the backfield. That offensive line, but you know, at the same time, you got the guy Pouncey right there that should be able to, you know, stop the middle. It's more about what's going to be happening on the right or left. Listen, Duck don't have to worry about the middle. He's got to worry about the right and left in reality. Cuervo.
Well, yeah, you know, and as Bryce mentioned just a minute ago, I mean, the linebacking core for Buffalo is solid. You know, with Edmonds and there's a couple other guys. I can't think of their names right now, but I know that their linebacking core is pretty good. Up front, they're not what they used to be. They're still effective, but they're not what they once were. Secondary wise, I mean, you mentioned Tre'Davious White. You know, so they've got a good, solid foundation in the secondary with White. So, overall, Buffalo's defense is pretty good. So I think you know, Pittsburgh's going to have to play. I don't want to say flawless offensively, but it all starts with the guys up front. If you can create some holes, I think isn't James Conner going to be back for you guys?
Yeah, he is. He will play this week. No Juju though. No Juju.
Yeah, Juju's out.
That hurts.
It does hurt. I think having Juju out hurts a little more than having Connor out.
Well, you can make up
most definitely.
Connor. You can make up for Connor in reality. I'm not. Listen, just as much as I hate to admit it, the running game is really almost really irrelevant in most games. If you don't have your running back, it doesn't necessarily matter anymore. You don't have your wide receivers, your guys that you're going to, your go-to guys, the guys that are going to put points on the board, the guys that you get the ball into their hands when you need a play. That hurts more than not having the running back in reality. So I see that whole thing. And this was one of the games that I had a tough one picking because I hate picking against this, the Steelers at home. I hate doing that because it's not a very good, it normally doesn't fare very well for anybody who picks against the Steelers at Heinz Field. But, you know, I don't know. It just depends. This is going to be a little bit different defense that the Pittsburgh Steelers, more so Duck, hasn't seen so far this year, Bryce. So this might be the toughest defense that he has coming up and in his 6th game here. So how he handles that pressure and what he's going to end up doing that's going to be coming his way, because you're right, that defense from Buffalo is what is going to win a football game for them, especially in Heinz Field, if it happens.
Oh yeah, this will be to date the toughest defense that Duck has gone against. This might be the toughest defense Pittsburgh's gone against all year. I mean, this is a really good unit. So let's talk about the Duck. Last week, that throw to Deontay Johnson on the out route for the touchdown was so ice cold. Whew, man. I mean, when you throw that, made me. I mean, that perked my eyebrows up. Like, whoa, that's an NFL. That's a big time throw. I mean, the snap was kind of bad. Pouncey's been snapping him a little low. He gathers it and just fires that thing on a rope, accurate, right in the window. Like, if you don't get that ball right, that ball's going the other way for a touchdown. And I mean, he threw a couple nice balls, back shoulder to Deion Kane, another out route to Johnson, but that throw on the goal line was ice cold. I mean, so, I think the Duck might be showing people that he's playing like I belong here. And we'll see what type of – that changes the game. If the Duck comes out at home, and he'll be at home, and that place is going to be rocking.
Right.
And if the Duck comes out and he starts hitting these young receivers and they start making plays in the passing game, then all bets are off.
Absolutely.
Because now that defense is going to be chasing. Now that defense is going to have to react because the playbook's going to open up. So I agree with you, Sonny. Duck has to – it's really going to be on Duck. I think they're going to send a lot of people at him. They're going to see how he reacts to it. And yeah, if he starts making throws, all bets are off, which he's shown that he can make the throws. We'll see how he reacts.
Well, an interesting thing here is, and when I say this, I don't want the stupid emails, okay? Because I'll get them, believe me. That having been said, Josh Allen, I'm going to tell you right now, this guy reminds me, a little bit. This guy will take off with the ball, Jack. I'm telling you right now. So when all the wide receivers are covered and everything else, and the defense is committed to what they're doing, Josh Allen at the 6-second mark, has more of an opportunity now because of the buy-in on what Pittsburgh's going to do defensively on any given play, Cuervo. And that is huge when you got a guy like a Josh Allen, which, by the way, the Bills haven't been in prime time on Sunday night in 11 years, or mark that, a long time. Josh Allen was 11 years old the last time they played on a Sunday night football. That was my note. So you got a quarterback that can do both. Now, Josh Allen, he will remain in the pocket, but that guy, if he sees the opening, if he sees that green, like we usually see, we'll see that opening right at the middle when normally a quarterback will just step up. This guy can take off when he steps up, and that's going to be a big difference in the game. And I think that'll be the difference on whether or not, if Buffalo gets the victory, we'll see a lot of that in this game.
Yeah, I mean, especially in third down situations. That's when you see Josh do it the most is – because his instinct is never to, run first or unlike with the Baltimore Ravens we were just talking about, Buffalo doesn't design plays for Josh Allen to just take off.
Yes.
Like everything that you see from Josh Allen when he's running with the football, that's ad-lib. That is on the fly. That is never designed. So. Right. You don't know when it's coming or if it's coming. So, but what benefits him is, as often as he does it, or as very rare as he does it, for a guy his size, he can handle it. And like I said, and you'll see him do it in third down situations, but he's not afraid to take a lick. And I like that about quarterbacks. Bryce knows better than anybody. I mean, Ben did it. He's done it for years.
Yes.
And so, when you have a quarterback like that plays with no fear, there's really not much you can ask for, not much more you can ask for out of your quarterback than to play with no fear and to do things like, convert 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s, if you don't see something open and you just take off.
Yeah. Now, Bryce, it's time. Tell me who you're picking and why.
All right. So before I do that, let me say this. Let me turn to my defense. I'm excited to see my defense play against Josh Allen, because Josh Allen is a little like Cam Newton in the sense that he's a big-bodied quarterback who will run, who get to the edge, like you said. They'll run the quarterback trap, the quarterback power, the counter. They'll use him like a running back at times, and so he's got to pay the price for running that offense. He will also turn the football over. You don't want to do that against this year's Steeler defense. We take the football away. So I think with the veteran secondary we have, with the rush that we have, this could, Josh Allen might be in for a rude awakening. Heinz Field, prime time. The saying in Pittsburgh is it's a 5-star matchup because we're in it. And so in that, we're going to be ready to go. Pittsburgh on primetime Sunday Night Football, that defense with that crowd is going to be amped up. And Josh Allen has a propensity to turn the football over. So, if we can get him on his heels or we can get a lead, they will unleash the dogs on him. Because while we haven't blitzed a lot this year because we've been getting pressure, that doesn't mean we won't. So let's see if we can get a lead and make them chase. But because it's prime time, Mike Tomlin, I think the Bills are a well-coached unit. They've done an outstanding job this year. Credit to them. I'm all in, though, this week. I'm going with my Steelers to win the game 17-10.
17-10. Looking at that game, Buffalo 9-4, fighting for a wild card. Maybe New England, depending on what happens with them. Of course, they have the Bengals, so I'm not very much worried about New England today. But the Steelers at 8-5, they need this game, especially fighting for the wild card within the division. It's the only way they're going to make the playoffs. And say whatever you want about that one. It seemed like Pittsburgh is on the ropes like they are like that. This team, Cuervo, they end up showing up. You got to bail on us, Bryce, or are you going to be hanging around?
I do have to bail.
All right, cool.
But always great. Thanks for having me, guys. I will see you next week for another slate of games.
Yes, definitely. Thanks for joining us on the couch with
Bryce
from Brooklyn. And before I get to that, I know there was a gentleman right there. That's my brother, the Jabba's distant cousin. That being said, I don't know. What do you think about this one there?
Personally, I'm hurt. And
I know. I can see somebody taking it out of you, right?
Well, I like the Steelers.
Steelers, yes. Got that. I actually wrote down your pick, so I just wanted to see if you wanted to change your mind.
No. I think they've been playing good football, and like I've always said, I am not the expert that you two are, but I'm just a football fan. And I just like to watch good football. And Thursday night provided entertainment, if anything.
Yep, and Sunday night, which is this game here, another one where you don't mind sitting through the commercials, Cuervo, because this is in reality when you look at Josh Allen and what he can do as the quarterback, it does remind me of a Lamar Jackson kind of guy. So instead of just having to face a Lamar Jackson quarterback, twice a year, they get the extra added bonus bringing in, Allen into this one. Who do you got on Sunday Night Football?
Yeah, I'm rolling with the Steelers as well. Yeah, I don't see Buffalo being able to do enough offensively to win this game. So I think that Pittsburgh's defense is playing well right now. They might not get more than one turnover, but it'll be in a very vital moment of the game, because that's just the way the Steelers do it most of the time. Is they always get, they always catch good breaks.
This one was a tough one for me because, again, I don't like picking against the Steelers in Heinz Field. Don't like doing it. Like I said,
then don't do it.
It's not very successful. Okay, but there's a difference in this Buffalo team that I've seen in the whole time. Again, this is a game where we talk about whether or not Buffalo is going to be a pretender within the AFC or are they going to be a contender. And
Yeah.
that whole situation with the way that Kyle Allen can move the ball after the dedication of the defense on where it's going to be, we're going to see Josh Allen moving the ball down the field, not by his arm. I think we're going to see a lot of him moving it by his legs. That's in the back of his mind. He's got the 1-2-3 get. And I'm picking against them, not because I think that I don't know which one of these two teams are the better team. Tonight figures that out, I think, in reality. Right now, if I look at the standings and what Buffalo's trying to fight for, they're not trying to fight for a wild card. They want to win the division. And last week's game, I think, really just kind of bitch slapped them around the football field. They took the loss last week, and they had no bit. Well, hold on. I shouldn't say that. They should. It's not that the fact that they didn't have any business losing that game, but they were at home against the Ravens, and so and the Steelers aren't the Ravens, and I think they hung with the Ravens pretty well for a while. So you don't get a full 4 quarters of Baltimore offense coming in your way. You get the Duck, and the Duck is only 5 games into the season. Allen has more time at the quarterback position, 2 young quarterbacks. I look at this game. I think the defense and the special teams, 86 themselves out. I go to who's the better quarterback. And I think Josh Allen right now is that better quarterback. Then I look at the coaching staff, and they're about the same too. But I think I give the edge to Buffalo because they've come into a situation this year where we don't see them winning 9 games after 13. We don't see that. We see them at 4 or 5 victories at this time. So the coaching staff has stepped up on what they are doing. So I'm going to go with Buffalo. I'm going to take a winger on them. I think they're going to get the victory here. We'll see what ends up happening in that one. So, all right, guys, what we're going to do, since I was going to do it, but I saw Bryce, and I know he doesn't have all of the time in the world. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead. We're going to kick it into our first commercial break. We'll be back in about 5 minutes, guys. So check us out on the other side. We're going to start it off with the Cuervo's Chicago Bears. They're taking on the Green Bay Packers. We'll look at Denver, at Kansas City, and Houston and Tennessee, and we'll probably go back a little bit more. You're listening to the Couch Potato Sports Show. Thanks for joining us here on our Sunday morning tradition that continues on into our 10th season. We'll be back after this.
Richardson, Texas. Look out. SOAR Championship Wrestling presents SOAR Mania. Thursday, February 13th at the Richardson Civic Center. Bell time is at 7:30. This Mania you don't want to miss.
Let Buffalo Creek Doors and Floors help you restore your home to its like-new condition. Need a contractor? Let us be your first stop as well as your last. Want to see what kind of work we do? Check out our Facebook page and you can see the craftsmanship you'll receive and expect from Buffalo Creek Doors and Floors. Give Rodney James a call at 214-536-2607 or check him out on the web at www.buffalocreekdoorsandfloors.com. At Wesson General Contracting Incorporated, we're your one-stop shop for all your general contracting needs. So roofing, gutters, sidings, fence staining, painting, foundation problems, or roof damage are no problems at all. Give us a call at 214-200-5588. That's 214-200-5588. Wesson General Contractors, proud sponsor of the Rowlett Eagles radio broadcast. rowlettfood.com. Do you want to have dinner delivered but you don't want to use Uber Eats? Contact someone locally that can do the same thing at a better price and faster. All you have to do is pick a restaurant on the list at the website, tell us what you'd like to order, then check out. Check out rowlettfoods.com. Give us a call at 972-408-8002 or check us out on the web at rowlettfood.com. At Nest Egg Wealth Advisors, we have found many people either approaching or currently in retirement failed to truly maximize some of the benefits offered to them, primarily Social Security. It's simply not a benefit that you start receiving at age 62. If you would like a complimentary copy of Social Security Maximization, please give our office a call today at 972-412-6064 or visit us on the web at nesteggadvice.com. Ever want to know why Bill and I look so good on our broadcast? Check out K West Designs on Facebook. You can take a look at our pictures and see the quality of the work that comes from K West Designs, especially if you have a special occasion. Just get on Facebook, look up K West Designs right in the search bar, contact them directly for questions or anything that you may have regarding your personal design. Liberty Air and Heat. Everybody knows what the Texas Heat can do to your air conditioning and heating systems. That's why you need the experts that deliver the best and most honest service in the Rowlett area. We provide the high-quality air conditioning and heating services that keep you more comfortable when you need it. So contact Liberty Air and Heat at 469-678-9444 or visit them on the web at libertyairandheat.com. And welcome back into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio here on our Sunday morning tradition. It is that being said, and we are all set and ready to rock and roll as we go into our second hour, and we are going to pump through these because the first hour I love checking out things. I love talking about some of the things as far as the games are concerned that we don't get an opportunity to touch on, except in case I jump on and do a show called Just Because I Want to. Catch that on Wednesday or Thursday. It just depends on my mood. You'll find me there every once in a while as far as that is concerned. So we are back here on a Sunday morning tradition. Let's talk a little bit really quick about his wait, what wait. What was that? What was that sign again? It says he said hard. He said thanks to my brother and his wonderful sense of humor right here on a Sunday morning. Some of the news, and we'll get Cuervo back up on camera because your camera's off there, Cuervo, in case you didn't know. That having been said, listen, the Dolphins, they are trying to look for their future. They go ahead, they solidify a wide receiver. Now, that's about the only thing that has really played out very well for them. Devontae Parker, how about a $40 million contract signed up? He has been set through 2023, so something to look on there as well. So we talked about Lamar Jackson breaking the rushing record away from Michael Vick. I'm sorry, I'm just not impressed, nor do I care. More so, all that is just, stuff that's put behind us. Rushing quarterbacks are not considered. And listen, let's talk. We will, if you think about it, and as we continue through the show, Cuervo, how many people are actually
going to be considered running quarterbacks that are going to be in the top 25. I can think of one. And that being said, that's just the way I kind of look at it as far as that is concerned as well. Also, the Giants go ahead and they release Janarius Jenkins. The Giants waived them 2 days after responding to a fan on Twitter during the team's practice with a slur. He said he wasn't going to apologize for it, so they go ahead and release him. They can release him all day long. He still gets the check, so it really doesn't matter. But the big one in reality, and I'm going to bring in Cuervo for this one before we jump into the games, is, and we'll just jump to this game as well. The Arizona Cardinals go ahead and release Terrell Suggs with 3 games after a disappointing season where he was supposed to, really kind of get the homecoming in reality. Remember, he was an ASU grad, so the idea was to bring him back to his home area there, Cuervo. And by the way, I got to put your mic on. Unmute the mic. Boom, there he's back. So, Cuervo, that being said, a move there, I don't think it affects Terrell Suggs as far as money, because he's going to get his money. It doesn't matter. You can release him, he gets the money. That part is in his pocket. I think this might have been something that kind of hurt him personally, because he wanted to go and have a good performance in front of his home crowds right there in Arizona over in Glendale.
Yeah, and then, unfortunately, it for whatever reason, it didn't work out. He didn't produce the way that Arizona was expecting. I don't think there was a, behind the scenes type issue going on to why they released him. They just, I think it was just more about production and lack of. So, there's already rumors flying that he wants to go back to Baltimore. So, obviously, with the way
that just makes me mad. See, the team was in the crapper when he left, and that's the reason why he left. And now he wants to go back just because it just kind of ticks me off. To me, it's all right. I'll just say it. If you're gonna wuss out that way, you can go ahead and do so. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't like it. In fact, I think it's a chuck. It's not a way to conduct business. It's not a way to put yourself out there in a good light. And in reality, okay, I'll say it. I hope he's not successful. That's when you do things like that, and now you'll go back because your team is good. To me, for lack of a better word, it's a wussy move. That's what it is. It's a wussy move that he is doing. And hey, how about just square up? How about do it right? How about lining up with your Arizona Cardinals? And the reason why he didn't have production with the Arizona Cardinals, this is what I was going to say, and I'm glad you went that way, is that he doesn't want to be there. He wishes he was back there in the first place. So that's the reason why we didn't see any kind of production from Terrell Suggs.
Do you think it's because he wants to, or that he wants to go back to Baltimore because they're winning? Do you think that's the reason why?
I think it's a wuss way out. Instead of trying to make his team better with a Lamar Jackson type of quarterback to try and make him better, he dropped the ball. He's seen what is going on in Baltimore, and he's thinking in the back of his mind, I probably should have never went. Maybe if I can just get myself out of here, maybe I can be over there. But he was released, Cuervo. They could pick him up right now if they wanted to. So now, I haven't seen any movement toward that either.
Yeah, and he'll be on waivers until the end of the weekend. But before I say that he wants to go back to Baltimore because he wussed out in Arizona, I don't know that as a fact. I don't know the reason why he was released in Arizona. I really don't. You probably know more than I do because you know a lot of people.
The release came because of production, Cuervo. The guy I don't even think he has a sack this year. So he's not getting to the quarterback. He's not putting pressure on the quarterback, which is the reason why you have a Terrell.
Right.
Or you don't have him on your lineup. Or you got to look at the stage. He's not a spring chicken either. This guy's been in the league forever. So if you're going to be a guy that age doing what you're doing, you have got to get to the quarterback, and he's just not doing it, Cuervo.
Yeah, he's not doing it. And, if that's the case and Which I didn't even know that he was sitting on 0 sacks this year, and that's unheard of from a guy like a Terrell Suggs.
I'm not saying he has 0. I haven't checked the stats, but it's not. I mean, you're talking about a guy that would have at least 8 or 9 by this time if he was, playing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
What he's
That's the average for him.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
but,
Looking at that was huge news. Also, the Jets game. Okay, Sam Darnold going off on his head coach over there. I'll tell you right now, Adam Gase. The Jets are just they keep it in the holiday, in the spirit of the holidays. It's like he's on that island of misfit toys, man. That's where he is
wow.
his element right now as far as a head coach in this football league, and the Jets can't do anything about it. You go get a new coach now. What's that going to do for you for the last 3 weeks? It's going to do absolutely nothing. More so that if you are listen, the Jets have already made telephone calls. Okay, so the guy who's coming in already knows that. He's going to be evaluating film that he gets right now and deciding whether or not he doesn't need to be on the sideline right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that as far as Adam Gase is concerned, yeah, I mean, it really hasn't worked out. But you think about it, what has he had to work with? And this, I guess, this is me kind of defending Adam Gase.
Are you?
What has he had? What has he? No, I mean, I'm serious. What has he had? What have the Jets given him to work with? You've got a young, raw quarterback.
Good point.
Your wide receiver core is way below average.
Pathetic.
Okay, Le'Veon Bell. They gave him Le'Veon Bell. Great, good for them.
In case that he is.
At the time in this league where running backs have become irrelevant, they go out and they get one of the best in the business, and they probably overpaid for him. So good job, Jets. How about going to get better offensive linemen? I know, right? Crazy concept.
Yes.
Go get you some better offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Go get you a receiver that can catch the damn football. Go get you somebody on defense.
Yes.
That can get to the quarterback.
Yep.
You had 2 guys and you let them both go. Sheldon Richardson, Muhammad Wilkerson. They're both gone now.
Yep. And it's it's not a good thing that's happening over there at all. It's Charles.
Tell him, Chuck. Tell him, Chuck.
He's absolutely right. It's not good at all, and more in the fact of that. So that's just some of the news that are coming down right now. But what I normally go in an order. I have a standing order. I go on the page, but I am going to switch it out. I am going to get out of order, and I'm going to go ahead and go to a game that is huge, because there is a guy that is questionable in the game this week. And I'm talking about the Tennessee Titan game. As the Tennessee Titans are at home, they're taking on the Houston Texans. Now, just like I expected last week, the Texans lay an egg against and not only did they lay an egg, they got blown out by the Denver Broncos at home. A pathetic performance out on the football field, which tells me in reality the simple fact of the matter how bad that. Chuck's busy today. That was terrible, and not only that, it also proves to me, Cuervo, pretender or contender. I mean, that one right there just slaps you across the faces. The Texans, even though they may end up winning this division of football, they're not contenders in reality. They're not ready to make that step forward. And Cuervo says, time out, my brother.
Houston's for real, Sonny. They just played a bad game. And the reason they played that bad game is because they felt so good about themselves. Yeah, go ahead and laugh. Go ahead and laugh. That's fine. Go ahead and laugh. They played so well against New England. They beat New England. And that this is the result. When you beat New England,
letdown game.
Now you feel like you're invincible and you're unstoppable, right?
Yep, letdown game.
Houston fell into that trap.
Oh, big time.
They beat the Patriots. They thought they were unstoppable, and then Denver comes into their house
and bitch slaps them all over the football
and embarrassed them on their turf. Houston's going to be ready to play today. You watch.
Well,
They're gonna be ready.
they're on the road, and listen, again, we talk about Texas, the Texans. You know, are they pretender? Are they contenders? They got to prove it today. This right here will tell you whether or not, because they're going up against a football team in the Tennessee Titans. They're no slouch, and not only that, they're not a slouch at home. So you got a double whammy up on top of that. Houston's on the road; they're not at home with their guys. All right, Houston 8-5 out on the season. So is Tennessee. They're tied right there in reality. This one here could be for the marbles of the division, and without having Travis Henry at the quarterback or running back position for the Titans, that just makes that job a little bit tougher right now, Cuervo.
Oh, no Derrick Henry today?
It's questionable. He's got that question mark next to his name, and that's never good for a running back. I don't mind having a wide receiver that's questionable. That doesn't bother me, because they can do go routes and get past their coverage or do quick slant on something. But when a running back is questionable, that means that they're worried about whether or not he can hit the football field. And if he does, he's not going to be 100%. That is not good, especially at the running back position, especially with the defensive lines that are going to be coming at your face. And in this case, you say whatever you want about that. You know, when you have the Texans missing out, they're missing their guys. So this kind of makes it interesting. They don't have Clowney no more. He's questionable up in Seattle, by the way, just for that game. He might be completely out. I'll find that out in reality. No J.J. Watts. What's left out there is some guys that can play, but they're not guys that, you know off the top of your head. I don't know them off the top of my head. So I don't know if that questionable is going to be in line for this game or not, as far as my feeling about this one. But right now, the Tennessee Titans are playing better football. And you say whatever you want about Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill has been – listen, I heard someone actually, try to put him out as the MVP or down in the top.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I didn't look at the numbers.
Sure.
But he's only lost one game since he's been in the lineup. He's 5-1 as a starter, so that's something to look at, especially in their divisions with those games going either way. In reality, that is huge. Now, so
I got something for you on that though, Sonny, and I'll tell you the reason why people are all over Ryan Tannehill. And I saw the same stat that probably 90% of those same people saw too. In the past, is it month, 6 weeks, something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know
No.
that Ryan Tannehill has the second highest QBR in the NFL?
Yes, I did see that. I'm not impressed.
Only behind one Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah. I see, because I can't get past the QBR on Lamar Jackson. How am I going to be impressed with Ryan Tannehill? I get what you're talking about. It makes a lot of sense.
Well, I mean, the impressive thing is that you would never guess that the answer was Ryan Tannehill. If I asked you, I said, who is Lamar Jackson's the best quarterback in the game right now? He has the best QBR. Who's number two? Most people would probably guess your normal suspects, right? Breeze, Rodgers, Mahomes, maybe even Deshaun Watson, right?
Yep.
Those are probably the four guys that are going to get that people are going to guess.
Yep.
And then when you say no, actually the answer is Ryan Tannehill, they're going to research it because they won't believe you. I mean, that's how unbelievable it is, right?
Yeah, they're laughing all over town, and in reality, so you don't expect a lot from Ryan Tannehill. I know I don't, but I'll tell you, he's done something in this one. So that being
He's provided a spark to the Tennessee Titans.
Say again?
He's provided a spark for that Tennessee Titans team.
Yeah, and I couldn't find my notes, and I found my note. We were talking about that defensive line coming from Houston. Houston linebacker Zach Cunningham, not on the line, but he leads the team with a career high 114 tackles so far.
Yeah, dude's a monster.
Solo, which by the way, that's a huge number. 79 solo tackles coming from. This is a guy that knows, and he has a nose for the ball, and that's what scares me about this. In the fact that you have Henry, who's not 100%. Zach Cunningham is going to be right there in his face. And I don't want to pick the Houston Texans in this game. I don't want to pick them because I don't I don't like teams going in there when the team is on a roll, regardless of what's happening here with Zach Cunningham. You also have DeAndre Hopkins, 120 yards last week, and that's in a game against where they couldn't get the ball down the field at all to save anybody's life against the Buffalo Bill or Denver Broncos. So you got that coming on. And the defense is all over this place. And for guys that are not necessarily known players in reality, I mean, how about safety Kenny Veraco? Okay, he's in the concussion protocol. He might be locked out of this game. That's a thing that kind of scares me. Also, Jackson has missed the game with an injured foot. Cornerback Sims practiced fully on Thursday. His right ankle is keeping him out the last 2 games, so he's not going to be 100% either. So I look at the defense's injuries, and I swear I was gonna pick the Texans, but I don't like the injuries on the Houston side of the football. I really don't. Even though you're not getting Henry out there, and the fact that there's some kind of something. I think it's the who was the quarterback that played for him, got shot by his girlfriend. The Steve McNair aura. There's something going on there. It's not Lambeau-like, but it's there. They win games they shouldn't win at home. Go last year or two. Again, I'll say it again. I'm the only one that picked the Titans to beat the Patriots. Yes, my arm hurts. Okay. All right. So, so and I'm gonna do it. And plus, I don't think that they are contenders. I think that game last week is a great indicator on what you're going to get with Houston in the first round of the playoffs, and that could end up being a blowout. I'm going Tennessee in this one, and as far as that pick is concerned, so I'll get up on it. Now I'm going to bring in my brother Dennis here for his pick. I'm not sure, and I caught him while he was eating. Sorry, my man. He's like choking. He say, "Thanks a lot for coming to me now." But who do you have in this one? I mean, 2 AFC South teams, they just crush it against each other each and every year.
I want to go with Houston.
So he wants to go Houston at Tennessee. And
wait a minute. I'm sorry. I got my head in my rear. I want to go with Tennessee only because that's Vicky's team. She's a big Texan, or she's a big Tennessee fan, and she's actually been impressed this year.
Well, hey, you have to be impressed in reality, Cuervo. You got Mike Vrabel doing what he's doing as the head coach. And listen, it has to start somewhere. And in reality, when you looked at the Tennessee Titans, before Vrabel hit the football field, they were in complete disarray. And that was because of coaching. They took care of that. And these players will gather around this guy, Cuervo. They love Mike Vrabel big time. So when you're looking at this, who do you have in this one? Are you going to go Houston, or are you going to go ahead and pick Tennessee?
No, I think Houston's going to bounce back this week. They embarrassed themselves at home. Now they go on the road, and they need to win this game if they're gonna stay in the hunt. Because I don't think they clinched their division yet, but
no,
they're in very good position to.
They both have the same record. They're 8-5. Both of them are sitting right there. As I'm looking at the standings right now, that I just went off the top of my head, and I was correct. They're both 8-5. I'm not sure who won the first one, the first meeting, or even if they played each other. If this is the first match, I don't know. But this one, in reality, is a long way on who's going to win this division. Again, I don't see more than one team coming out of this division. In reality, Indianapolis has dropped off as far as them being contenders within this league. At just what I thought. Jacoby Brissett down is not what they need. Maybe he'll be better next year. I might be a little bit of a believer in Jacoby Brissett next year after the 4th game. If he continues to be a consistent quarterback, I think I'll get on the Brissett bandwagon a little bit, because it's one thing to do it all year long. It's another to take it into the next year. So that's what I want to see if he can, because he sucked the time before that. We all know he sucked. wants to admit it, that's fine. But this division of football, not the best. It's kind of like the NFC East of the AFC. It's the worst division in the AFC. So in reality, though, I don't trust the Houston Texans having to win a game. And I think that's what needs to happen here. I just don't see them getting the victory there. So that's the first one on tap. I wanted to get out on order because I had the news up there as far as that was concerned. So I'm on Tennessee. Cuervo's on Houston. Dennis is on Tennessee as well. That's going to take us into our first game that takes you to your jersey that you're wearing there, Cuervo. It is time to talk your Chicago Bears against the Green Bay Packers. And listen, you got three guys right here in the frame. Hold on. I didn't stop. I hit the button. It just went again. Bear fans. Three in reality. I'm a Bear realist, even though Cuervo thinks I'm a hater. And listen, we all hate Packers. I'm sorry, I hate them. I hate them with a passion. And real Dennis, real Bear fans hate the Packers, right?
That is true. I am choosing the Bears on this one, though.
So he goes Bears right away. He just more in the fact, and I know Cuervo's got some hate for the Green Bay Packers in reality, but come on, as much as I want to be a Bear fan, and I do, I want them to be good. They remind me of Houston. I don't know if I can trust them. I know I can't trust Mitchell Trubisky to play great for 4 or 5 games in a row. And you can sit there and have that shit-eating grin that you have on your face there, Cuervo, but at the same time, we all know that this guy is not doing – now, the last 2 games, he's been productive. I'm going to give the guy his dues. But at the same time, the Chicago Bears are not in a fight for anything. So when you got guys like that, it just takes me back to the years of Brian Hoyer playing against teams and playing well and just gets the big contract and the guy sucks anyway. So that's my question, Cuervo. Is your guy, Mitchell Trubisky, is he the guy? Is this the guy they're going to move forward with all the rumors swirling around, whether it's Cam Newton, whether it is Andy Dalton, which I heard, by the way, and, I don't know how you feel about Andy Dalton. That's the guy that they're rumored out there actively looking, by the way, at Andy Dalton. That being said, who do you want? I mean, as a Bear fan that you are, Cuervo, who do you want?
Well, I want either Mahomes or Deshaun Watson, but that's not happening. So that's not happening.
Well, you know the answer to that question.
I don't think so, too.
It didn't happen. So
who are my options?
Well, anybody. I mean, how do you feel about Patrick Mahomes in 2020? Or not Patrick Mahomes, but Mitchell Trubisky, your guy going into 2020. Never mind this game. We haven't even got there. But, the Bears' future, they're done for this year. You and I both know that. As much as we don't want to admit it, they're out of the playoff race, even though they're kind of hanging on at 7-6. They're going to have to win out in order to really kind of move there. It has to happen this week, but is Mitchell Trubisky the answer, Cuervo? Or are you wanting Cam Newton? Are you wanting somebody else? Or a guy that we haven't even mentioned that might be in the running to maybe take over for the Chicago Bears if it's not Mitchell Trubisky?
Can we clone Peyton Manning to be 20 years old again? And maybe we can have him. No, can't do that.
You don't want a Peyton Manning in this first season. You want him in second season. So you want him.
No. First season's okay. It's okay.
It's a breaking in period.
Yeah.
Because we all know he's going to get a whole lot better as the years go by. So yeah. I'll take it.
Yeah. But so how you? Really and honestly and truly, as a Bear fan that you are, you're devoted. I mean, you'll pick them every week, but you sometimes are a realist and you won't pick the Bears. And if I'm not mistaken, you picked, last year, the Green Bay Packers to beat your Bears. And I know that hurt, to the core. Has anything changed as far as this game is concerned to where you can move away from that and go ahead and go out on a limb and pick the Green Bay Packers with your rational mind more so than your heart?
Can't do it, Sonny.
Can't do it. Just,
Can't do it.
So are you saying then my notes I just wad up and throw away? There's nothing that's going to be able to change your mind. I mean, you look at Green Bay. Listen, Green Bay is on top of that division. They're 10-3. That's not just a good record. That's a very decent record at this time of the year, especially in the NFC. When you have teams, obviously, look at the Dallas Cowboys. You know, the 7-9 might win that damn division, but you got teams in the NFC with New Orleans up there trying to fight for it. Seattle is in second with 10 victories and 11 for the 49ers. I mean, so you got some mad things headed your way. This game is in Green Bay. Your Bears are on the road to go play in the mystic, the whole thing that
the frozen tundra.
Packers. I mean, Lambeau Field. There's something about that place that just stirs up all the ghosts.
Yeah, it makes me want to punch somebody. Oh, I'm sorry. Look, guys, I'm a Bear realist too. I don't like being a Bear realist because it hurts.
Yes.
But when I have to be, I am. Going back to your question, though, I don't feel very confident with Mitch. You want me to be honest with you? You want me to be real with you? I don't feel confident with Mitch going into the future because I just think that first of all, I don't think his decision-making is horrible. I just think his preparation is horrible. And what I mean by that is if you watch when he's playing, a lot of times he looks a little confused. His accuracy is terrible, awful, absolutely awful. But what Mitch has gained over the past couple of weeks is confidence, and I don't know what's changed. I don't know if Matt Nagy took a boot to put a boot to his chest or stuck it up his what. But I'm gonna tell you something. Mitch looks a lot more comfortable now. He looks a lot more confident.
Right.
And when you have confident Mitch, he looks a whole lot better than the Mitch than we saw a month ago. So that's why I feel a little good about our chances up in Green Bay. And there's the revenge factor too from opening night back in September.
8 weeks.
Yeah, and nothing would make my weekend better than to go into their house. The guys in green and yellow, which are the two ugliest colors in the world, by the way.
Of course.
Disgusting. And they should never go together.
No.
But nothing would make my weekend better than to go up into their house and beat them.
Absolutely. But I got some bad news for you, and you don't want to hear it.
You're picking Green Bay. I already know.
No. I haven't given my pick yet, but I'm talking about some injuries that you don't want to hear. Roquan Smith tore a pec against the Dallas Cowboys. Yep. He's gone for the rest of the season. Yes.
If I may interrupt for a quick second, we are getting somebody back. He is returning. He's been gone for quite some time. One Akeem Hicks up on the front line. So that's big. That's huge.
Yes. And I think it was a dislocated elbow. I think it happened in London, I think. And that's how long ago that was.
Yeah, he's been out for quite some time.
But some more bad news defensively. I mean, so you got that. So you don't have Smith. We are also veteran Danny Trevathan. He's been out since November 10th with
that's okay
as well.
No big deal.
Yeah,
no big deal.
No big deal. And how about Kevin Pierre-Louis, inside linebacker? You're not supposed to be playing.
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah, that one was the one I was looking at as well. And so defensively, the Bears have got got to be able to get over the fact, and hopefully you get Hicks at 100%, not at 80%. I always hate that. I always hate seeing, especially defenders coming back. But this was an elbow, so when I think about defensive players, I think about their legs, whether or not that they can go ahead and keep up with who they got to keep up with. So at least you don't have that going on as far as that is concerned. So, but you get to take a look at a guy that used to be on your football team and Amos. I know you were never a great big fan of Amos up on just like I said, not a great big fan at all. You get to see him as well. And so that's something to look on. So Trubinsky right now, by the way, and I'm not trying to stab you in the back, but Mitchell Trubinsky, number 2 overall pick, completed 70% of his passes, 860 yards, 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 99.1 as far as the 3 straight games that he's played. So you got that going for you. But on the other side, you got Rodgers, a passer rating of 100 in 4 different games this year. That is huge. Also, he's got 4 just under 90 at 89. So you get the up and down that you get with a Aaron Rodgers as far as that is concerned. But you also have Aaron Jones, 4 different games with at least 150 yards from scrimmage, and 5 games under 50. So you get the combination of both. Wide receiver Scantling early, top contender, was number 2 wide receiver. Then Devontae Adams. You got all kinds of things. You get the up and down from the Green Bay Packers because that's the way they play. Because they got to play that way sometimes because of what's lacking. And what's usually lacking is the defense in reality. Let's just be straightforward and honest in reality. But when you got a guy like an Aaron Rodgers, it's hard to pick from him against him any week, never mind against the Chicago Bears. But the picker in me, I am gonna go with the Green Bay Packers in this one as far as that's concerned. I got my brother. You're going with the Bears too. I know that. Oh, yeah. So Cuervo, are you gonna go with your heart, or are you gonna go with your mind, or are you just gonna scramble it up and figure out who you're gonna take?
Well, before I answer that question, I just want to know if your brother plans on starting the show, because I'm going to go be his co-host.
He is a real Bear fan. Yes, I understand.
That's right.
Yes. So I assume you're going to stick with your. Hey, but here, I'll give you this, Cuervo. For the last 3 games, the offense seems to be where they need to be. Okay. The only problem is this is Lambeau Field. This is a total different area as far as, and the Bears don't play good in Green Bay. They just don't. And that's another thing. You add up on that. Traditionally, they lay an egg in Green Bay. So more in the fact of that.
This is true.
The picker.
I hate that you're right about that, but yes, it is true.
No, I don't think I am right about that. They don't play well in Green Bay. They'll get a game here.
No, I hate the fact that you are right.
A big game, but overall, in reality, when you look at the Bears and the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay, the Bears don't usually come out on top. So that's another that makes it kind of hard to pick.
Well, look, last year the Bears had no business losing that game. They threw it away. I mean, they were dominating in that first half, if you remember.
I do.
That week 1 Sunday night game, dominating.
Laid the freaking egg. It was the spirits of Lambeau. It was Vic Lombardi coming back and saying, not here, not today. You're not going to get the victory here. So, and that's what it is. It's the ghost of Packer pass that usually comes into play there, especially in a game like that where all of a sudden you see, Aaron Rodgers throwing out of his mind, hitting the guy on the sideline where you got a tiptoe sideline catch that usually goes out of bounds, but somehow he got his foot down. All these things. And I don't normally say that about any other football place. And granted, Tennessee is a tough place to play at home, but not on the level of what you get as far as Lambeau Field is concerned. It's just a total different monster out there. So I'm on the Packers. My brother and Cuervo on the Bears. Or are you gonna take the pick and go Green Bay, Cuervo? Okay. I try.
Okay, Sonny.
I try.
By the way, Sonny,
Okay, hold on. All right.
By the way, Danica Patrick wears the pants in that relationship.
She probably drives a little faster too. So yeah, I
to the dark side. Lou.
So that's right. So the next game that's up here on the couch.
I had to do it. I had to.
The Denver Broncos going on the road and to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Now,
by the way, just a quick note here, Chris. The weather is going to be cold up there. 22 degrees right now here in Springfield, and we're just right up the road from them. So,
yep.
And there's a storm brewing, and I don't know if it's going to hit during the football game or not, but that could be a fact too.
Well, here's the thing: Green Bay and Chicago both are lovers of that crap. They love that slop. Either one of them are okay. I mean, obviously they're used to playing in that mess. So when those two teams meet, that's not even an advantage one team. Unlike if it, in reality, if the Rams come into town and they have, just like last year, Rams came into Chicago.
Yeah. I remember that game.
Yeah, season they just wiped them out. Of course, that's kind of what
they're all on the sidelines in a big huddle.
Big parkas and everything. Yeah, it's great. So, all right. So the next game up on board, Denver and Kansas City. Kansas City at home, Arrowhead. That's another home field advantage that it's hard to get a win in. However, Kansas City has dropped a couple of them at home, which this year. I mean, so at early in the year, they got the victory the last couple of times, but the first few times that they were there, we seen the Arrowhead not be too friendly to their own home team. But it is the Denver Broncos. Listen, the Denver Broncos are not a good football team. Okay. And you can say whatever you want. I love what's coming at the quarterback from Luck, and I think that's the big thing in reality. It's not. Wait, is it Luck? Is his last name Luck? What's the new quarterback?
Drew Lock.
Thank you, Drew Lock.
Yeah.
By the way, had a real good game last week, so I was actually impressed watching this cat. And he's out of Missouri, isn't he, Cuervo?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's out of Missouri.
He was a 5-year starter there.
Yeah, 5-year starter. So they know how to put together. But as much as I like what the Denver Broncos did to the Houston Texans, listen, this is just a little bit different. This is Kansas City. I didn't take a lot of time to really think about this one. I'd like to see the Denver Broncos win this game. We know it's not going to happen. I'm all over Kansas City in this one, Cuervo.
Oh yeah, I am too. I could see Kansas City putting up a nice juicy 40 burger in this one.
Yep. And hardly even getting into the end zone. I mean, and they don't even need their starters in reality when you think about that one, Cuervo. They don't need their starters to go in there. So the fact that they're going to be missing Von Miller in this game isn't even going to matter.
Yep.
So it's not a huge thing at all when you think about this game. And you really, in reality, Kansas City needs this game too. That's one thing you don't want to do. Meet up with the Kansas City Chiefs when they have to get a victory. They're trying to win this division. They're trying to put themselves in a position where they're not going to be playing on Saturday in a wild card. They want to play at worst case scenario on a Sunday. They don't want to be in that first game in the wild card. So that's what you see on Saturday. The lesser of the teams out there, and they don't want to be that. I don't think they're going to end up getting the first round bye, because you got too many other things going there. Plus, you don't know what's going to happen with New England. New England, if they start going off on a roll and, after losing their second in a row, I don't think New England's going to lose another game. And, of course, all the rumors swirling around about Gronk coming back there. Will that happen? I don't know, nor do I care. But at the same time, you don't want to go up against the Kansas City Chiefs right now. I think this is a game. And Andy Reid right now, even though they have dropped a few games that they probably shouldn't have, I think he's got his quarterback rounded in reality. I'm all over Kansas City. As far as this, any chance you see as far as Denver getting a victory in Arrowhead?
Well, I will say this. They did beat New England last week, and teams that beat New England, they follow up with duds. You know what I mean? So, Baltimore's the exception. Baltimore was the only team that came back the next week and actually played well.
Remember that next game? They darn near got beat. I forgot who it was, but they didn't come back. They inked
Might have
that
been.
one.
I think it was Pittsburgh. I think it might have been Pittsburgh in overtime.
They inked it out. Hey, listen, they still got the victory, so you got to give them that.
Right.
But your point, very well taken. I mean,
so yeah. So the Chiefs can't fall into that trap of we're untouchable, we're unstoppable because we barely squeaked by the Patriots last week. So,
and the mindset of the Broncos, maybe you say whatever you want. I use Dak Prescott and Tony Romo as the thing. Once you get a change at the quarterback position, you get a different kind of chemistry. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys offensive line would not block for Tony Romo, but as soon as Dak Prescott stepped out on the football field, they learned how to block again. So it could be the same thing that's happening up in Denver. I can't take the stretch and take it, but Dennis, you on the Kansas City Chiefs at home at Arrowhead?
Yes.
Okay, so. Great analysis.
That pretty much goes without saying. I think it's going to be one of those fun games to watch. So I think too.
Well, it depends. I think this one could get ugly. I think it's a skull drag situation in reality, unless that Bronco team that took care of business in Houston shows up again, and this could be now. Do I want to see it? Yes, and the reason why I want to see it, Cuervo, is I want to see the big guys go down, and I want to see the Kansas City Chiefs go down. I don't think it's going to happen. I want to see it because
hater.
I'm a hater.
Hater.
The love affairs players make me want to puke, and that is, and they do. They got a big love affair in reality when you talk about, Patrick Mahomes and everybody else. That love affair is and it runs deep too, and I hate it. It makes me want to puke. And so maybe we can see the Denver Broncos from last year, because I would like to see that and get it all squared away. But that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. We're going to head on into the next game as soon as I find that button, and I'll push that button right there. It'll take a second. But the next game up on board is the Miami Dolphins going on the road to take on the Giants. And this is the I don't care bowl in reality. I don't think anybody cares in reality. So that being said, of course, that's the name of this show. I almost had to pull out the couch potato quarter in this one, Cuervo, because these teams they're not. Yeah, the program is not responding. Yes, it's doing everything but the right. All right, so when I look at this one, I don't care. Giants, I don't know. Are we going to get Jones back at the quarterback position? No, high ankle sprain. He's probably out. So you got Miami. I don't know, Cuervo. Give me a reason to pick one of these teams. Jesus, I mean, this is pathetic.
Because we have to, Sonny. That's what we do on this show.
Everybody's
a
little
pick someone
here.
Oh man, I hate a game like this because and here's the thing. I was hoping Miami would be better, and of course we didn't get that. But then again, that whole coaching staff is just a pathetic mess. So you got that. And then you have what's going on in New York. They're not playing very well at all. Brian Tarvin, who chimed in, he's saying, and he's he don't like my Jaguar. My Jaguar is that ugly Jags jersey. That ugly ass Jags jersey. So, but that being said, he's on the Giants. God, I'm just gonna take the home team because they're both pathetic. So I guess I don't want to take the Giants. I'm not taking the Giants. They're god awful. Eli Manning's probably going to start again, and I don't know.
Actually, I think he is. Yeah, I think he's supposed to.
No, it's pathetic. I'm going Miami. I'm not going to do it, and that's because I refuse to pick Eli Manning games. I almost did it last week, and by the way, that was a close game last week. The Giants darn near. I mean, because I remember I was torn when I was trying to pick that one. Philadelphia. against Philadelphia last week, and so Philly pulled that one out at the end. But I just don't see it. I'm Eli Manning when he's in the lineup. You can do one of two things. One, you can expect the loss, or they're going to be in a tight game. In reality, the Giants should roll all over the Miami Dolphins. But the boy with the worst nickname in NFL history, Ryan Fitzmagic, gets going. God, that's such a bad nickname. That's another thing makes me want to puke. Anyway, it is what it is. That being said, of course, what do you think about this one, Cuervo? You got to pick one. I'm going to go Miami just because it's Eli Manning.
Real quick before I talk about this, two things, and I'm sure your brother knows this, but if he doesn't, I'm gonna fill him in. Two things that irk Sonny Clark more than anything.
Okay.
Nicknames.
Oh God.
Nicknames.
Can't stand
and trick plays.
Oh, I hate trick plays.
Nothing sets this man off more than those two things.
Team, if you pull out the trick play bag, and I don't care who you are,
it just takes you right back to high school.
If you can't line up straight off, you don't deserve to be out on the football field. You resort to trick plays, and it even makes me puke when the freaking Patriots do it. It makes me so angry. I can't stand it. It makes me so mad. Oh, let's do the Statue of Liberty. Oh, where's the ball? Oh God, it just makes me mad. It just makes me oh God. And Brian Tarvin loves them, and I can't stand them. It just shows what a wuss of a team you are. You can't line up men on men. You gotta line up lady on men, and that's the only way a lady's gonna beat a man in a football game is by trick play. Thank you very much. It is what it is. So. I'm sure to get emails. All right, fine.
Yeah, especially from the women audience, the female audience. You're going to get them.
Listen, and I got respect for the women that play football. I'll tell you right now, I've been to some women indoor football games. I'd walk out with a damage for life.
Tough ladies.
I'd have brain damage. I wouldn't be able to. It'd be horrible. It would not be a good thing. So, but
it'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, well, I do that. Just come see me in the morning, and there you go. My brain's not put together. So yeah, powder puff, Brian Tarvin out there. So who you gonna pick in this? I guess a game is what.
Scrimmage
or the Dolphins.
This scrimmage game.
Yeah, scrimmage. Yeah.
Sonny, through overtime, I have bought into your theory, your belief that Eli Manning is terrible. Terrible.
Terrible.
Hey, Chuck, Eli Manning, is he terrible? Yeah, he's terrible. He's got awful terrible. He's got off. It only took you 6 years to figure that out, Cuervo?
No, more like 6 months.
Got it.
No, it took about a year or two, but yeah, I mean, God, these teams are both bad. You're right. I'm gonna roll with you, Sonny. I'm gonna take the Dolphins.
Yeah, and the I don't care bowl that happens there,
exactly.
It's god awful. It's a god awful game, but we had a little fun making fun of it.
Hold on, is this game in New York? This game's in New York.
It is in New York.
Ooh, Can I get back to you before the show ends on this one?
He's got some investigation to do, so I get it.
Yeah.
Next game up for the Philadelphia Eagles at Washington. Listen, this one right here is going to be the game of the day, especially for Dallas Cowboy fans. Okay. All right, because the Dallas Cowboys are very interested in what happens in this game. They got to win themselves. So we'll talk about that one when we get to it. But the Philadelphia Eagles in Washington, listen, the Philadelphia Eagles have not been playing good football. I mean, they lost to the god-awful Miami Dolphins that we're talking. And it's the only reason why. In reality, I picked them because they can beat the Philadelphia Eagles. But you think about this game, and as far as the NFC standings are concerned, this is a game the Philadelphia Eagles, in reality, Cuervo, cannot afford to lose right now.
No, absolutely not. I mean, they're pushing for a playoff spot, so they absolutely have to.
Yeah, they got to win
have to have this one
in order to get that playoff spot, because we're not going to see two teams out of the NFC East make the playoffs. Wow.
Yeah, right.
Tries, but at the same time, you're looking at this one. You get Carson. Listen, Carson Wentz has actually been playing some halfway decent football. Okay, now granted, it's nothing to really write home to football about. It hasn't been that fantastic thing that you think you should see from Carson Wentz, and we always talk about it in reality. It's not if he's going to get hurt, it's when. He kind of went down for a little bit in one game. So I heard he bounced back up off of that. Brian Tarvin is all over the Philadelphia Eagles today. The only problem is this is the reason why I'm not picking the Philadelphia Eagles, is what Brian Tarvin put in the chat room. They don't have any wide receivers. They are just stumped. And listen, Washington at home, we talked about it, Cuervo, just a couple of weeks ago. We both picked the Washington Redskins. People thought we were out of our mind. Well, whether it's Haskins or whatever the case may be, they were at home. Let's see, who are they playing? Let's see here, Washington. That was 2 weeks ago. Maybe it's 3 weeks ago. Hold on. Because they were playing a team they had no really business beating at home. Oh, Detroit. We picked Washington.
That's right. Yep.
Week 12, and then Washington they actually bounced back the next week and beat Carolina. I was the only one that took the Washington Redskins. Everybody else took Carolina. Last week, Washington lost. I'm almost 100% sure they lost last week. And let's see who they play. Washington played Green Bay. So, they had to come to Jesus.
They almost won that game. They almost won.
But to come to Jesus on Sunday, to come to Jesus, they do take the loss. So, but I'm on Washington today. Just more on the fact that we don't have a lot of film on Haskins. Okay, guess what? When you got a quarterback that don't have a lot of film, sometimes they have some good success. Now, there is some film on him now, but whether or not they change it up in this one, I don't know. But Philly not having any wide receivers, good God almighty, I'm worried about them. And more in the fact, no Alshon Jeffries, he's out. Deshaun Jackson, he's out. I think he's done for the season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It's not good.
I don't think he's coming back this year.
I don't think he's coming back this year. So Carson Wentz is going to have to figure it out. And the running game in Philly, I mean, do they have a running game in Philly, Cuervo? Let's just say it doesn't stand out to where I remember off the top of my head who's the running back.
Yeah,
Who's the running back in Philadelphia?
Well, if you remember a couple weeks ago, they signed Jay Ajayi.
Yeah, Jay Ajayi.
They brought him back. Miles Sanders has been on and off, the rookie.
Yep, I like him, but he wasn't the guy that wasn't in uniform for 9 weeks, or 10 weeks. So that's another thing. He's in football shape, and so that football shape and being in shape and being in football shape are two totally different things. But I'd love to see him rip it off, because I like Jay Ajayi. I thought they should have picked him up earlier in the year anyway. But I don't know. So I'm actually going Washington. I think they're at home. I like Haskins. I like what they're doing. I like them at home a lot, all the time. It's always a challenge to pick against the Redskins, because they can maybe pull it out. So I'm going to Washington Redskins at home. What do you think about this, Dennis?
Well, I just don't really. This is one of those games where I just don't really care about. But I chose the Eagles.
You chose the Eagles. Okay. Guys, hop into this one. I got an important message that I had to pick up. So hop into this one, Cuervo, when you're looking at this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I look at this game, and Tarvin in the chat, in the Facebook live chat, brings up a lot of good points, as far as them not having any receivers and whatnot. But what does help the Eagles is they have one of the best tight ends in the game, and he's unstoppable in Zach Ertz. I mean, that guy's a machine, man. Like, he's such a mismatch for a lot of teams. You don't know whether to put – and that's a lot of tight ends. You talk about Kelsey and George Kittle and those guys, and you don't know whether to put a linebacker, or he might be too slow, or safety, he might be too small. So he poses a really big mismatch for most teams. and that's obviously it's advantage Eagles, but I think for the Eagles to win this game today, they're going to have to. What you mentioned, Sonny, is they're going to have to rely on the running game. They're going to have to control the time of possession. Not that Washington is anything explosive on offense, but like you wear that Redskin defense down, because that is the strength of their team, is the defense. You wear that down, then you're putting yourself in a really good position to beat the Redskins, because offensively, I like Dwayne Haskins. I think he's got some potential for the future, but right now he's still on that huge learning curve that most rookie quarterbacks go through. So, the fact that they hung with Green Bay last week was, as a Bears fan, I love to see that. But it just shows that he has started to, pick up in his progression. So, him being at home today, I think it could go either way. It's really hard to tell, but I think I like the Eagles. I think because the Eagles are in desperate mode, guys.
That's
it. And when the Eagles are in desperate mode, let me tell you something. Doug Peterson is a dangerous coach. You want to talk, Sonny? I'm warning you now. Don't watch the Eagles today, because they're probably going to play. They're going to do a couple trick plays, and it's going to drive you crazy.
Yeah, it is. So, it is. That will drive me absolutely crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So,
exactly, Cuervo. Teams that are in desperate mode will do desperate, stupid things. And here's another thing. Any team that goes to that desperate and they do the trick plays, I hope it backfires on them. And so that's where it's at. So, geez.
Tarvin says Mark Wahlberg's playing, so they're going to rock the Vince Papale jerseys today. In other words, Vince Papale is going to suit up for the Eagles today.
Yeah, something like that. All right, I got it. My daughter is at a thing, and the whole team left her all by herself at downtown Dallas. I'm trying to get some messages. Okay, I got to get some messages. So here's what we'll do. We'll go into the next game, and I'll hop on this one. This is the game that Tarvin wanted to talk about. The Seattle Seahawks at Carolina. Again, no Giovanni.
Carolina Panthers.
In Seattle. This one's an important game in reality for the Seattle Seahawks. They have to stay in right now. You got the 49ers doing what they're doing. They're leading that division of football by one game. 49ers have Atlanta at home. So, they got to keep up pace with them. And that's another thing. That is something that you have to worry about if you're Seattle. You're trying to win that division in reality, because I don't know if they keep losing games and things like this, they're going to be in a fight for a playoff spot in that wild card. And right now, I already picked Seattle to be the NFC representative in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I said it. I said it a few weeks back. But I think they need this game. So, in desperate mode right now, Carolina, not really a good football team, regardless what any kind of thing Brian Tarvin's going to put up here in the chat room. I got news for you. This one's a tough one in reality. So, so that being said, when you look at this one, Cuervo, what are you looking at?
Yeah, this is going to be actually. I think this is going to be a better game than most people expect. I know Carolina is kind of faded away as far as the playoffs are concerned. Actually, I think they might be out of it now. But I will say that I think today, I think the Panthers will come out ready to play. Now, how well that'll fare out throughout the duration of this football game, who knows? But for Seattle, obviously with no Jadeveon Clowney, that's a huge blow. But I think that Carolina is a team that won't quit. I know they have a new coach now, so I expect them to play competitively. I think they're going to come out and they're going to give Seattle all they can handle.
Yep. That is a huge thing. And of course, I lost my damn pen. I hate when people interrupt me when I'm trying to do my show. There's my pen right there. All right. So that being said, of course, I'm desperate modes. I'm going Seattle. I'm gonna go ahead and I am picking Seattle. The Clowney, not having Clowney in the lineup, I don't like that. I really feel good about Seattle going into this game. Clowney not being in the lineup, that is a big hole because not only that, he makes quarterbacks do things that they don't want to do. It's because he gets in the backfield so fast. And now that they don't have that, that's going to give them a little bit more time. But I don't trust the quarterback in Carolina. So Dennis, looking at this game, I don't know if you keep up very much with either one of these teams.
Well, I have been actually, and I've been enjoying watching the Seahawks play. And usually, I don't say stuff like that about that team. I always thought they were. Yeah, I know, but they are playing really good, I think. So I chose the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Tarvin. I appreciate that. Of course, he gives me the nudge on that one. I need glasses like my brother, but I don't know. What's the better team? Well, come on. Who's the better? Tarvin. Who's the better team? Are you kidding me? You're out here actually saying that the Carolina Panthers are a better team than Seattle? Tarvin, come on now. I got the answer.
We all know it's the Panthers.
I don't think so, Tim. That ain't. I did that one twice on purpose. I don't think so. So all right. So by the way, Cuervo, I had you on Philadelphia for against Washington.
Yes.
I just want to make sure I got it right.
Absolutely.
All right. So, and I'm going Seattle in this one. So that's huge there. So who are you going to pick in this one, Cuervo?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Hawks as well, Sonny. I know Tarvin's not going to like me for it, but don't think I didn't see. You picked Green Bay in the messages. Don't think I didn't see it, Tarvin. I'm calling you out.
Calling him out.
I saw it. So, yes, no Jadeveon Clowney, but look.
Yeah.
Carolina, no Greg Olsen. McCaffrey has been the only guy for Carolina this whole season, so can't win games like that. You got to spread it out. So
I agree with you. I agree with you 100% because if you don't spread it out, this whole thing can get out of hand really quick.
Yeah.
All right, very good. So I'm on Seattle. Everybody's on Seattle. Next game up on board here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. The emergency is over, thank God. Tampa Bay playing good football lately, but the turnover machine that is one Jameis Winston at Detroit. And listen, we still don't have Matthew Stafford back in the lineup for Detroit. They're starting that rook. I forget his name. It's irrelevant. The Detroit Lions, when they went ahead and they hired the defensive coordinator out of New England, they expected more. But I don't know how much they really could have expected. I just lost that DC Dennis Clark on the stream, so I'll bring him out. That being said, when I was looking at this game, I was like, man, if this one could in reality get set, this could be a good football game. But I think it needs a Matthew Stafford in order to be good, and we're not going to get that today in reality. The Lions, I think right now could be questioning whether or not they should have hired who they hired. I don't know if that's going to be, something that they actually do. I don't think they make the change at the end of this year. I don't. I think they have an idea of what they think that they can get. By the way, the Lions have showed improvements in games, and they're in games too. And that's another thing. When you're in games, it's a total different thing as when they're not in games. So when you're looking at this one, Cuervo, at home against Detroit, you got Jameis Winston, the turnover monster. In reality, you have a rookie quarterback starting in Detroit. You gotta. What's that expression? Oh yeah, you have a fire in the trash can, man. This game dumpster fire here in reality, and someone's got to win it. And my mind is saying Detroit, but I don't know. Jameis Winston, even as bad as he is, he can get the ball downfield. He's been showing that for the last 3 weeks, Cuervo. He can get the ball downfield. Now, they didn't win last week, and I didn't expect him to win. But a couple weeks before that, he actually had good performances with the interceptions and the turnovers that he did, and they got the victory. Good victory. It was going down the field. Evans, I think, might not play in this one. I got to look at my notes. Got to find my notes.
I was just about to mention that.
I don't think he is in there. So, now, here's some other things here. As far as here it is, Evans is out of this game. So he pulled a hammy on a 61-yard reception last week, and he actually leads the NFL with 1,157 yards and 8 touchdown catches. So that is a huge loss for him in reality. But that being said, you look at on the other side, they got that other cat catching the football. His name is slipping my head. I don't have it down on my notes, but that guy has been like
Godwin.
That guy's been playing well as well. So and Galloway and Goodwin. I got my notes here on Goodwin, 1,212 yards. He's also got 9 touchdowns as well. So you're looking at some numbers here that are impressive. But the turnover machine that it is huge. Now, the Lions lost Marvin Jones, which I got some mad love from Marvin Jones. That guy, they put him on IR, high ankle sprain, not going to be back for 6 weeks. He's done for the rest of the season. So they're going to have to, get that all squared away. They pull up some guy off the practice squad and take his spot. So now Sue returns in this game as well. So you got that to think about. I don't know how to say his name. It makes me mad. Last name Sue, the one that is a punk. But he's actually been a good boy lately. Sue, he's been a good boy for a couple of years.
He has.
So that they got that going for him as well. So and I just in this game I don't know who to pick in reality, because I can see a turnover being the reason why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lose this game. So I think that's the reason why I'm going to go ahead and take the Lions. And he lost it. Oh, he's back. All right. Cuervo misses you, Dennis. So, or Marvin misses you.
I had to visit the locker room,
Yeah, he's saying he's got some mad love for Star Wars and Jabba the Hutt, so he's missing you very much. So, I'm actually going to go Lions in this one. I think that the fact that he is a turnover machine, I think it will cost him a game. In reality, the better football team is Tampa Bay, but the Lions are at home. So I'm just going to, just because both these teams are so god awful. Here it is. 6-7, 3-9-1 for the Lions. This is nothing to write home to mama about. So I am going to go Lions. I'm just taking the home team in reality. Cuervo.
I'm going the other side. I'm going to take Tampa Bay. I know that Mike Evans doesn't look like he's going to play today, but they still have Godwin. They still have, a couple of guys at running back. I mean, no one special, but they have an effective running game, and I just think that the offensive line of Tampa Bay will be able to handle their own against that Detroit defense, and they'll do just enough to, squeak out a win. Look, Jameis he's gonna get his turnovers. Like he's I mean, you could count on that. But the upside of that is, he may throw 2 picks, but he's also going to throw 3, maybe even 4 touchdowns. So you get the good with the bad when it comes to Jameis Winston.
Dennis, what do you think in this one?
Well, I've always been a closet Detroit fan at heart, but I'm going with the Bucs this time.
So he's going Tampa Bay. By the way, Brian Tarvin, I see you in the chat room. Why don't you get up? I put the link in our chat between us three, so you can hit the link and join us if you want. Join us via video. That'd be.
He's scared. He won't do it.
Yeah,
he's scared. He won't do it.
He probably won't. But that leads us into the next game on the slate here on the Couch Potato Sports Show, as we take a look at them all. As the Cleveland Browns, they go in, they're to take on the Arizona Cardinals. This is going to be a good game. That's all I can say in reality, Cuervo. This is going to be a good game. Neither one of these teams are good. Let's just put it that way. But it's the future of the NFL. If you look at it, you got Kyler Murray, you got Baker on the other side. I can't stand Baker. I don't know. I don't have an opinion as far as Kyler Murray, except that at least he's not a punk. So I guess I can go that route. Unlike Baker Mayfield, he's a punk. But you also got to look at the talent out on the football field. But the Arizona Cardinals are at home. I don't know how they feel about the Terrell Suggs not being on the football team. I don't think they should worry about that. I don't think that's something anybody on the team needs to worry about in reality. But when you make a big move like that, that's a big name in reality when you take him out of the lineup. Okay, say whatever you want about Terrell Suggs. Okay, plus he's a hometown boy. I don't know how much they are going to love the fact that he is not going to be in the lineup. So that being said, Cuervo, when you're looking at this one, what are you looking at? Are you seeing a Baker Mayfield coming up right here, or Arizona? And listen, Tarvin says upset here. Listen, what do you mean upset? I don't even know what you mean by that. Upset. Both these teams suck. I mean, in reality. So I mean, do we know what the line is in this one? Is the line saying someone's going to definitely win this game or not? I don't know. I don't look at lines, but I don't know who would be the Todd Mitt said it's.
I'm pretty sure Cleveland's favored somehow, but I'm pretty sure Cleveland's favored.
I don't know, man. And this is another game I just don't like. I just don't like picking this one. And the main reason why is I'm actually doing halfway decent with my picks, and we get crap games like this that make me look bad. But I don't trust Arizona in reality. Baker Mayfield isn't the best. Kyler Murray definitely isn't the best. I mean, they'd have more wins if he was God's gift that they think he is. So we should have more wins. He's not. I mean, so, but at the same time, he's at home. So, I can't go. I'm not going to go against Cleveland. I'm not saying they're a good football team or that I like them, but I like them better than the Arizona Cardinals. They haven't put anything out on the football field all year long that says, whoa, 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 we got to pick them. So there's nothing there in reality. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what do you think?
So Arizona versus Cleveland. Huh? So, well, you already know what the storyline here is, and I'm shocked that I haven't heard it all week long. Former Oklahoma Heisman Trophy winners, former number 1 overall picks. Oh my God, Oklahoma's the greatest thing since sliced bread, right? That was the headline I would have expected. I didn't even know these two teams were playing each other. Thank God we didn't have to hear that crap all week long.
You just didn't listen to talk radio is what it is. I didn't hear it either.
This is also true. I did not. This is also very true.
Probably swarming all over the place, and we just missed it. Of course, we do this by the seat of our pants. That's obvious. All you got to do is see the first 10 minutes of the show, and then
you're wearing pants right now.
But what?
I said you're wearing pants right now?
Yeah, I am wearing pants. Actually, it's a little cool down here in Texas.
I probably shouldn't stand up then. I'm kidding, Sonny. I'm kidding.
Thanks for the visual. But anyway, it is what it is. I don't know. I don't even have a reason. It's just more on the fact that the better team has the better record. I'm going Cleveland. How about Dennis? Enlighten us with your fine breakdown of the Cleveland Browns and the Arizona Cardinals. Dennis, give us your insight on what you think.
It all depends on what Baker Mayfield does before the game.
All right,
if he's going to make an ass of himself again.
Okay.
Very good.
You know how I feel about this. I took the Cardinals just because I can't stand Cleveland. I can't stand him.
And you gotta love a guy. He's got his convictions. So so much so he took the Bears too, which is crazy. But hey, it is what it is. That being said, Cuervo, I mean, Cleveland, Arizona. Who do you got? I mean, God, what a bad football game.
I hate to use this cop-out. I hate to use this as a cop-out way to pick a game, but who's the home team?
Arizona.
Okay, I'm going to go Cardinals then.
Cardinals, Arizona. It's not a cop-out. It's just such a bad game. Listen, I got some notes. I mean, I can go over the notes in this one, but why? I mean, this is a crap game, and it's a crap shoot. on who's going to win the game. There's nothing in there that says you have to pick a team better, that's going to win this one. And guess what?
And it doesn't matter.
Well, this one doesn't matter because you're right. None of the teams are going to make the playoffs and everything. But here's another crap game that comes up here for us, Cuervo, in reality.
Well, Red Zone's got a lot of games to cover. At least they're not going to cover only 2 games during the afternoon this time around.
Yeah, that's true, too. That's a good thing. So the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm supporting the color. They're playing Oakland.
There you go.
This one's at least a game. I mean, in reality, but as much as I'm wearing the jersey, I don't trust the Jacksonville Jaguars to get a victory. And not only that, Oakland is trying to make a playoff push. They're not going to make it, but you still got to act like you're going to do it. So you got a coach that might be pushing this team. Oakland's at home, and it's not a cop-out. I just think the Oakland Raiders are a better football team in reality than my Jacksonville Jaguars. And all you got to do is look at the records that prove it. 6-7 for Oakland, 4-9 for the Jaguars. I mean, so and second in the West right now are the Oakland Raiders. So, they're trying to either A, win a division, or B, trying to make a playoffs. I don't see them winning the division. That's probably going to be in Kansas City's hands in reality. So they're looking for that wild card, Cuervo. What do you think about this one?
Well, I mean, it's like you said. I mean, the Raiders are trying to push for a wild card, even though they're only 6-7. Somehow they're still in it. But I just think overall, like you mentioned, I mean, I just don't think the Jaguars have enough. I mean, didn't they just place Miles Jack on IR?
Yes, they did.
Ooh, that's huge. Oh, that's so bad.
Jaguars. I mean, my God, they're god awful. And the wife chimes in. She says they suck too. Oakland all the way over the Jags. That was just that. I feel the knife. Pulling that knife back out.
Betrayal. Holy cow.
The betrayal that it is, but it is what. But I'm with her, man. I mean, the Jaguars don't have anything to write home. By the way, this is a football team in reality, Cuervo. Its name slipped in my mind. I don't have the notes in front of me. I didn't take any in this one. But their running back situation, they should have 86 last year. They didn't do it. Who's the running back? I mean, evidently everybody thinks he's great.
Fournette.
Leonard Fournette. That's the guy they should have traded to get some kind of stock in. That guy sucks. I'm sorry. This is not a good football player. He's a cop-out crybaby, and I don't like that about him at all, and I never liked that about him at all. Why the Jaguars decided to put the load on his shoulders to run the football, it's beyond me. I mean, him and Tom Coughlin can't get along. Burn my jersey. Thank you very much. I can't see why Tom Coughlin, the quote unquote president of the Jacksonville Jaguars, decided to keep Leonard Fournette. He could have got some stock for him, Cuervo. I think they could have gotten something for him. And listen, 3rd or 4th round draft pick, I think they probably could have got it.
I don't think it's worth trading him, Sonny. You're not going to get anywhere near the value that you're looking for. I mean, you're talking about a top 10 overall pick in the draft. And you think about all that money that the Jaguars have invested into Leonard Fournette, and you think about all the money you're going to have to eat if you trade him away. So most likely, look, the Jags are not going to extend his contract. They're not going to give him the 5th-year option, and he's going to become a free agent. So it's really that simple. And I want to say he's in his last year. You may not see him anymore after the season as a Jaguar anyways.
Yeah. So the question is whether or not we'll see Leonard Fournette in a Jacksonville Jaguar next year. I
don't think so, Tim.
I don't think we're going to see it. I just think it's something that is going to be just get through the season. Of course, the whole season has been garbage all year long. And just as I predicted, Cuervo, I didn't expect the Jaguars to be good this year. They stink. And by the way, and I think this is a Tom Coughlin problem. I mean, as much as I respect the guy, I think he's one of the reasons why the Jaguars are in the position that they are in. Now, they got a great owner. They got a billionaire owner. Not only that, he runs the AEW, and that's All Elite Wrestling. He has that underneath his belt, too. The guy's got more money than God. And, so why they're not doing something with that money and doing what they got to do in order to make a good football team just is beyond me. And you're talking about a defense for the last couple of years that had been garbage, when the 2 years before that they were outstanding, and we're seeing a shell of what that defense used to be. And they're god awful. So I'm actually on Oakland on this one. And Cuervo, I'm not sure. You took the stretch and picked the Jaguars last week, and I tried to talk you out of it. That didn't help. So are you going to stick with my Jags, or are you going to go the Raiders?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Raiders.
Oakland Raiders and Dennis Jabba. I mean, Dennis, who are you on this one?
Well, you guys failed to remember that this is the last game they're playing in Oakland.
You're right. I did.
Yeah, that's right.
The last game in Oakland, and I think that they're going to put on a show for the fans.
Better. I mean, you got the best fans in the world in Oakland, and you're just turning your back on them by moving.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Oakland fans go to Las Vegas. That ought to be a fun night on the strip.
And hey, Cuervo, you're from California. Those fans out there, they will. What is it? Hour and a half, 2 hours to Vegas? They'll make a trip over there, won't they? Cuervo?
Well, it depends on where you are. So for where I live, right out just north of San Diego, it takes about 4 hours to get there.
Oh, okay.
If you're up more towards the Bay, up in like Oakland, San Francisco area, it might be, I don't know, maybe a 6 hour drive, 5-6 hours.
Do you think those Oakland Raider fans will make that trip, go to Vegas?
Oh, come on.
Come on. Yeah.
The wait list for season tickets is probably ridiculous already.
Well, see, and that's what I'm wondering. I mean, geez, the price of those tickets have got to be out of this world. I mean, they're definitely not going to get Oakland Raider prices. They're getting Las Vegas prices. And listen, this is not Las Vegas 2000. Yeah, this is not Las Vegas 2000 where you can go spend a weekend there for $300. You can drop $300 at a lunch, in Vegas now. So it's
just go to a buffet that used to be free.
Yeah, the buffets that you can get at most $10, you're paying $25 for it. I hate Vegas now. Unless you're going to stay downtown, I hate Vegas.
I wouldn't go anywhere but downtown.
Hey, Sonny, I hear Binions is a nice place.
Yeah, we've been in Binions. We sat in Binions not once but twice over in Binions. We actually had a show over in the Golden Gate, the longest opening of a casino in Las Vegas history down there. So we actually did our show on a blackjack table. So there
you go.
Yeah. So but yeah, if I do the Vegas thing again, there you go. And everybody seems to say that you'll go. I guess we'll find out. We'll see. I hope they have those fans next year. I hope that front row is full of those crazy fans because, I think they deserve it. I think that's something. But in reality, those tickets, it's all about the money, and it's going to.
I'll tell you what those.
Brand. Okay, I got everybody back except Cuervo. Here, and just like there we are. We're all back, and I don't know.
We're back.
That
was really weird.
Back in time. So I'm not sure what happened out of that. I don't know. So it could be just my computer.
You hit an internet speed bump.
I guess. Yeah, bumped my head.
Yeah, we all did.
So, but that being said, of course, we got 32 more minutes and we got 4 more games. We got plenty of time to be able to knock this out. But what always traditionally happens is Sonny has drank a lot of coffee today. So we need to take a break so Sonny can take a break. So we're going to do that. We're going to take a quick break, and the quick break meaning no more than 3 minutes. We'll be back here on the Couch Potato Sports Show, and we'll finish up the last few games, and we'll do that here fairly quickly. We'll be right back.
There is nothing that beats good home-cooked barbecue. Since 1941, whether you want real Texas brisket, Virginia ham, southern pulled pork, or fall-off-the-bone ribs, Dickey's Barbecue is the place to go. Come visit us today at 5701 President George Bush Turnpike, Suite 110 in the Target Shopping Center. For lip-smacking, rib-tickling, knee-slapping, foot-stomping, great-tasting barbecue, come see us at Dickey's Barbecue today.
Go Custom. Get happy. Tell us what you love. We're your local neighborhood window covering experts who truly understand your needs, so we deliver the perfect solution for your home. So check out Budget Blinds of Rowlett, serving Rowlett, Wiley, Saxe, and Garland. Give them a call at 972-722-9300. Budget Blinds of Rowlett, where we listen to our customers' needs. Landon Huey and 19 Ministries.
One of the things we want to do is Rowlett Revival, and we know that there are a lot of hurting and broken people across the city. Bring in a guest speaker, and he's just going to share the love of Christ, and we want to connect people in the city up with churches.
So make sure you contact Landon Huey at 19 Ministries at 972-835-8665, or check them out on the web at 19ministries.org or uniterowlett.org. Being taken for a ride? Check out Coslow Insurance, serving Texans since 1981. Bundle your home, auto, or business insurance to save a ton. Coslow Insurance on the corner of Main Street and Rowlett Road, where we make insurance fun. Or check us out on the web at CoslowInsurance.com, where we always have the coffee pot on.
Yeah, but is it fresh?
Richardson, Texas. Look out. SOAR Championship Wrestling presents SOARmania, Thursday, February 13th at the Richardson Civic Center. Bell time is at 7:30. This mania you don't want to miss.
And welcome back into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, as we're covering all the games in the NFL. Don't forget about SOARmania on February 13th. Check it out at the Ritz for all my locals right there, as I am on commentary along with the legend in his own mind, Trey Mack, with the coverage. And this one will be on a paid preview basis, so you can see this one. You'll hear Trey and I on the commentary, so enjoy that. It's been a lot of fun working with SOAR Championship Wrestling, doing what we do as far as the commentary is concerned. So great people there. Sir Mo, former WWE Tag Team Champion, Sir Mo, along with Mabel. So check it out, SOARmania. Get on Facebook, put in SOAR Championship Wrestling, and you'll get all the information on that. Check out the Facebook page there. So good stuff there. It's there, WrestleMania, as for folks that cannot get out to WrestleMania. That's happening in Tampa Bay, by the way, where home of the Buccaneers is where the WrestleMania is happening. So to keep it local, we're bringing in some big names in that one. Congo Kong is a big name that's going to be out there. I forget her name. It's a one name name a woman, used to be Santino Marella's girlfriend, is going to be out there. And she got at one time. Anyway, I won't go into that, but check that one out. It's going to be good. Sore Mania, along with me and Trey Mack, the legend in his own mind, on the call as far as that one is concerned. So that one is huge. No, Sir Mo is I'm older than Sir Mo. I'm 50. I'll be 53 in January. Sir Mo is 52. So, I'm a little bit older than he is. So, so that having been said, we are back here. We got some games to cover on the Couch Potato Sports Show as we get them all wrapped up here and talked about. So let's do that. We're heading to the next game that's up on the list there. The Minnesota Vikings. They hit the road to take on the Chargers, and the Chargers just came alive last week, and I'm not sure why. It's not a great football team. We all know they're not a great football team. Hell, I even think they know they're not a good football team. So that being said, when you're talking about this one, that it's an important game for Minnesota. They got to keep up with Green Bay. I think they're going to beat the Bears. If that does happen, right now, Minnesota, before they even hit the field, is one game behind the Green Bay Packers right now. So they need to keep in line, especially when it comes to the standings in the NFL and where they are. So just really quick, when you take a look at what's going on as far as Minnesota is concerned, and in reality about the wild card in reality in the NFC. So when you look at it, here we go. Green Bay 10-3 on the top, Minnesota 9-4, and Minnesota would love to see the Bears get the victory in Green Bay. I don't think they're going to be able to get that job done. Cuervo, being the Bear fan that he is going to do that. And my brother, for some reason, I don't know why, he went ahead and he picked the Chicago Bears in that one as well. So bringing back on my brother, he's making some tea, it looks like. Oh no, wait, you got something right there. What are you eating? I guess spaghetti. I can't see.
Yeah, a little sketty, man.
I should put my glasses on. I really should. So Minnesota fighting for that wild card. Okay. Reason being, they got 9 victories on it. You got to go to the NFC West because you got 2 teams that are probably going to come out of there. San Francisco, if they get the victory against Atlanta, we'll talk about that game next week. In the lineup, and they're also battling themselves. And then after that. In reality, they got the Rams to worry about. Now, if the Rams take care of business in Dallas, and we'll talk about that one, that's another one that we got to cover. That should be very interesting. So to start this one out, this is a game where you take a look at Minnesota and what they're doing so far, having a great season. But in reality, when I looked at this season before it even started, I did not expect Green Bay to be doing what they have done. 10-3 was not the record I expected to see. So that's a problem. Hopefully we get Cuervo. He's supposed to be back here. But in this game, as far as the Vikings are concerned, the Kirk Cousins and the Phillip Rivers thing head to head, I think they actually just smack each other out. I don't know what to expect from either one of those quarterbacks in reality. Phillip Rivers not having the season that he thought he was going to end up having. Never mind if Phillip Rivers, just the whole team in general. They were in contention last year in the AFC to make a playoff spot. Didn't happen. That didn't go. But in reality, they're going up against a football team. And even though Kirk Cousins is not anything to write home to mama about, we know he is not a good quarterback. But he can get the ball down the field. Minnesota, Stephon Diggs is 5th in the NFL. He's averaging almost 18 yards of reception. And when he's targeted 20 times or more, the passer rating for Kirk Cousins is over 130. In fact, it's 139.2. It's the second best in the league behind.
I'm actually surprised too, Sonny, because I never really thought Kirk Cousins was anything but just a mediocre quarterback.
And this is the problem. I think you're right. I think he's a mediocre quarterback. In reality, I think it puts it in the middle of the pack, but this guy brings home a salary that is so high compared to anybody else in the NFL as far as quarterbacks are concerned. Just look at Jacoby Brissett, who took over in Indianapolis. I think he might be a better quarterback, and he's getting paid nothing compared to what Kirk Cousins is being paid up in Minnesota. But he's a
team leader, Sonny. He's a team leader. leader and he's a motivator. And I think that's part of the quarterback's job.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. In reality, and Indianapolis takes on New Orleans on Monday Night Football, and that's another game we're going to talk about. But lots of stuff in this one. Thean, he did practice on on a limited basis. They should be, what they're saying is they're expecting him to be full strength. Don't expect it, guys. Expect 80% for Thean at the wide receiver position. He got that injury back in Detroit. So look out for that, see how he's there. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's the defense in reality. When I look at this game, and I'm not sure if we're going to get Cuervo back. I don't see a note from him, and I don't see him on my page. But taking a look at this one's all going to be about defense on the Minnesota side when I'm looking at this one. So I'm not sure, what you think about Minnesota. Of course, you always want Minnesota to win to try to get ahead of the Green Bay Packers because everybody hates the Packers. I hate them too. So I'd much rather see the Vikings win this division of football. And love to see Green Bay go down today, even though I don't think it's going to happen. But if that worked out, they'll end up with the same record. If Minnesota wins and Green Bay loses, they'll be right there, both of them with 10 wins on the season.
That's amazing to me.
Because I expected Chicago to be in the top two at the beginning of the season. Of course, we're not getting what we're expected out of the quarterback position in Chicago with as far as their situation. So I think that's a big difference as well, what they expected at the quarterback position in Chicago compared to what they got in reality. So that's something to look at.
Well, at least there's a little improvement in Chicago. You got to admit that.
At least for the last 3 weeks, you're right.
It's been a rough season for the Bears, no doubt about it.
And listen, when you can get a victory every once in a while, that's good for your football team. So, Cuervo, when you're looking at this one, I see Minnesota's defense being as good as they are, and we see the sun going halfway across of Cuervo's face. There he is, sitting a little bit closer. So when I look at it, I look at Phillip Rivers and Kirk Cousins really kind of taking themselves, equaling them out. It's the wide receiver in reality. You got Diggs playing as well as he's playing, and if they get the ball to him 10 times or more, that's something else. I just lost Dennis. I'll take him out of the screen real quick and bring him back when he comes back. But what are you looking at in this one there, Cuervo?
Well, I mean, I'm looking at two teams going in two different directions.
Absolutely.
In reality, I mean, Minnesota's playing, they're doing what they should be doing, and making that playoff push. The Chargers, on the other hand, which to me, for me personally, Sonny, this is one of the biggest surprises of the year so far.
I agree.
Just the complete, now I don't want to say meltdown, but just the disappointing season that the Chargers are having.
It's almost like they didn't show up, Cuervo. That's what when I'm looking at that, this is a team that hasn't shown up all year long. And I don't know if it's because of Melvin Gordon and that nonsense on the holdout and everything else. Frankly, it's a bad excuse to be a bad football team. But
terrible!
It's like they've been out of sorts since just because they couldn't get that signing, and we haven't seen Melvin Gordon be exactly what he was last year either. So that holdout really affected this football team as a whole in reality, because what happened is they got behind before they could get ahead, and that's where they needed to get out of the gate fairly quick in order to hold on to it, and they needed Melvin Gordon. And the fact they didn't have Melvin Gordon for the first almost 6 games of the season, and they went 2-4 in that time. It's hard to catch up when you go 2-4. I mean, just look at the statistics on who makes the playoffs, and when you can't win very many games at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and that was the thing is, they started off slow and they just weren't able to pick it up. I mean, Phillip Rivers is having arguably one of the worst seasons of his career. Which is something that none of us would have expected, especially how well he played last year. I mean, what changed between last year and this year? Well, I mean,
absolutely, yeah.
His age I don't think is a factor.
They didn't lose vital personnel out on the football field, Cuervo. I mean, there's basically kind of the same football team in reality. Of course, a couple of losses, but nothing so big that you can run a truck through the hole that they left when they left. These are fill-in positions that they didn't end up getting taken.
Well, there was one. There was one that they had to deal with, but it was on the defensive side. It had nothing to do with the offense. So
yeah.
Again, the lack of offensive production is just mind-boggling to me because of how well they were last year and how bad they are this year. It's
pathetic.
I don't know. I can't explain it, Sonny.
I do know that, I can't pick the Chargers. There's nothing there. Even though they had a great performance, it was against the Jaguars. God, who can't beat them? So the simple fact of the matter is you've got a football team in Minnesota that's defensively going to tear up that football team. And not only that, they get in the backfield so fast. The good football teams on the defensive side of the ball, they get into the backfield quick, which in turn makes the quarterbacks make bad decisions, and there's probably nobody worse in the NFL this year of making bad decisions at bad times than Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, and as far as this game, I think it's going to be closer than most people think, even though we see these two teams in a different light. I think that the Chargers, because they're a tough team at home. They're a tough team to beat. And honestly, I think they're going to give the Vikings a run for their money. I don't think they're going to win, so I'm picking Minnesota to win this game. But I do think it's going to be close, and I do think it's going to come down to Minnesota having to make some things happen in the fourth quarter. And I know Viking fans don't want to hear it, but Kirk Cousins is going to have to – he's going to have to pull through it.
Yeah, and you sit on the edge of your seat every time that guy drops down in the kind of position that he's in. You don't trust him. I know I don't trust him. I mean, I've been calling this guy out for the last 3 years. He's mediocre at best, making a boatload of money, and Minnesota was stuck with him in reality. They couldn't get rid of him because of so much money that was dug in. And then the famous question coming from Cuervo, who else are you going to get? And then they're just kind of stuck with that whole situation as far as that's concerned. And that's never any good for anybody in reality. So that's the whole thing. So who you got in this one? Are you going to go ahead and pick the home team in the Chargers, or are you going to go ahead and pick Minnesota?
No, I'm taking Minnesota, but again, it's going to be close. I think it's going to be closer than most people think.
Yep. And Dennis, are you on the Vikings?
I am on the Vikings side of this ball too.
You got it. So even though it is Kirk Cousins and it is god awful, it's better than what most people got going on right now. So that being said, let's head into the next game that's here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. The Atlanta Falcons are going to go on the road, and they are taking on the San Francisco 49ers, who have been on the road. You just look at what's going on, 11-2. But Atlanta, hey, you can say whatever you want about Atlanta. They haven't been playing god awful for the last 3 weeks. So in reality, though, this game this could be a different turnaround game. If it was in Atlanta, this would probably be a close game. And now, granted, we're not talking about a team that's got 10,000 wins. We're talking about the Atlanta Falcons with a 4-9 record. Okay. If they get that ball downfield a couple of times, that's not good for anybody. But it always comes back to the fact on whether or not you're going to have a healthy football team in Atlanta going down there in the first place. But here's the thing, Cuervo, when you looked at that with this football team, you expected Julio Jones to burn up the rubber. And guess what? Even though he got the big contract and everything else, we're not seeing Julio Jones going down the field getting 200 yards and 12 touchdowns at this point. And Dan Quinn, we don't even know if he's even in it to win it. So, and never mind the fact they got the worst offensive coordinator in NFL history, in Dirk Koetter. You get that up on top of it. You look at this game and go, how are you going to beat San Francisco in San Francisco when they have been on a roll? And as much as I'm going to diss Frank Gore, I'm sorry, he's not a good running back. I don't care how many yards he has. I don't care who he just passed. He sucks. And I said it, and I'll say it again. I know I'll get mail. But it is what it is. I mean, the most overrated wide receiver running back in NFL history is Frank Gore. However, when you look at this whole situation, hold on, I'm thinking of wrong. He's on Buffalo. So he used to be a 49er, so that's where my mind is. But you look at this one, Kyle Shanahan right now, third year as the Niners, coach. I mean, listen, and they've been playing well, and I didn't expect them to be where they are, but it's all about the Jimmy Garoppolo show, Cuervo, in reality.
Oh yeah, dude's playing lights out, and I know a lot of people really haven't mentioned it, but how about a little MVP talk for Garoppolo? All the attention's on Lamar Jackson, but I mean, look at how different this 49ers team looks with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yep. The difference.
There's no doubt about it, and people like my wife think he's a good-looking dude.
Well, he doesn't admit it. The guy, Jesus, I mean, if there's a way that I could trade this for that.
Yes, I know what line I'd be in.
I'd mortgage the rent in my apartment. How about that? I'd give everything to have that. But at the same time, he's got the talent. He's just really, like you said, Cuervo, he's really just, putting himself in a line where he really should be talked about the MVP, but he's not going to get the love from Lamar Jackson.
And once again, they're fun to watch.
Yeah, true too. Fun to watch, and that's always good in there. Kansas City Field is covered in snow, so we're hearing that. That's a Denver Bronco thing, but Kansas City knows how to play in it too. So, but that's out there. So that being said, Cuervo, I'm on San Francisco. Atlanta, if they had any kind of potency, I might think about taking them here to find out if San Francisco is a or contender.
Why? Good.
Listen, when you talk about the lineup, they have two real good wide receivers on that football team. Matt Ryan just had the ball, and that's the biggest difference in reality, because the simple fact of the matter is, no matter how good Dan Quinn is defensively, Cuervo as a coach, when you're out on the football field as long as they are, you lose football games, you lose gas, you don't have whatever it takes, and guess what? That's going to happen again today. I mean, they're going to get. I'm going to steal a term from Brian Tarvin. They're going to get skull drug all over the football field. The 49ers are going to just tear them a new one.
Oh, yeah, I can see that happening too. I don't give Atlanta much of a chance today.
Yeah, just ugliness. Now, the one that is set up for my locals here, and my brother's team comes into Dallas. The Rams are taking on the Dallas Cowboys at Cowboy Stadium, which, by the way, beautiful stadium. I mean, and they actually have a home field advantage. God, I mean, when you're the Dallas Cowboys and you got the talent that you have on you, you want to talk about a guy that has lost the locker room. There's no question that's what's going on down here, because now, guess what? They put themselves there as bad as they are, and they can make the playoffs. If this football team decides to turn it around in some way, okay, they're going to walk into the playoffs, and if they have any kind of success, you're going to see Jason Garrett behind on the sideline again next year. So the players are in a very bad place in reality. I mean, you look where you are in the season. Go, God, if we just make a run for it, maybe we can do what the Giants did a few years back. Finishing 9-7 and win the Super Bowl. They got the opportunity to do so, but they're just so lost coaching wise. So the only way that they win this game is if they go off the charts, Cuervo, and start playing their own game. That means Dak Prescott actually calling the game from the huddle, and I don't think that's a great idea. I don't even like I knew this was going to happen when they decided to get their offensive coordinator in there. Now, granted, we all know that it should be Jason Garrett. That's who should be running it. But Jason Garrett put this in the hands of that quarterback that sucked. I can't remember his name. You know it off the top of your head, Cuervo. I'm too old. I can't remember the guy's name. But the guy sucked as an NFL quarterback, and Jason Garrett is going to let it go down with him more so than Jason Garrett. So when you're looking at this one, I mean, I don't know how you picked the Dallas Cowboys to win the game. But if they do turn it around in this one at home, they put themselves in a good position. They'll stay in first place within the division as well. They'll make the playoffs. That's the reason why they haven't fired the guy. They're still in first place, and they're going to make the playoffs if they continue to, stay in that position. That means if the Philadelphia Eagles continue to lose like they've been doing, losing games that they shouldn't have, a la Miami, this could be a different story this week, but it's not. So an important game for the Dallas Cowboys. How do you pick this game? How do you pick the Dallas Cowboys to win, especially since the Rams have been playing well for the last 2 years or 2 games, Cuervo?
Yeah, they have been playing well, and it looks like the offense has figured it out. I think it's more that they're getting healthier. I mean, Brandon Cooks and Woods were both injured for the past few weeks. Cooper Kupp, as good of a receiver as he is, I don't think he has what it takes to be a number one. So, the Rams were hurting for a couple of weeks at wide receiver. Now they've got these guys back. And, I mean, you look at last week, just look at last week alone. I mean, they take care of business at home against Seattle. And now they go on the road, and I expect them to do the same thing down in Dallas.
Definitely. I'm on the Rams in this one. It's just more the fact I don't trust the guy. Now, what's going to happen, Cuervo, since I'm on the Rams, okay, and Dennis, since I'm on the Rams, Cowboys are going to figure out how to win this game and make me look stupid. And that's the thing. The Dallas Cowboys, they make you look stupid. You pick them against the Jets, and the Jets wipe them out. That's the embarrassing thing about this. And right now, you got both these teams kind of playing evenly in reality, except for the fact that momentum, and we talk about momentum in this game all the time, Cuervo, don't we? About who has the momentum. But Dennis, I mean, Rams right now, I think they got that momentum.
Well, they do. The only thing that concerns me is Gurley is, I would say, at 60% maybe.
If that. I mean, the guy sucks. I'm sorry. He got that money.
Yeah, it's looking, Jack. He looked pretty good in last week's game, but you can see it. You can see it.
He's
from 2 years ago. There's 2 different people on the field.
Well, I think it's combo of injuries, but also desire's gone. I mean, when you're making that much money, he got and he knows he's got that money coming. He's got guaranteed money up the yin-yang, and I think that was probably one of the biggest mistakes the Rams did.
I agree. I agree.
And it started out
finding somebody without a doctor's note was kind of silly.
Absolutely. It started off with, until he got healthy, you don't write that check. But that's exactly what they did. They knew he wasn't healthy. They signed the check anyway. And then they did the same thing with Carson Wentz. They only have a first-round draft pick until 2021? That's not good football. Yeah. That's not good business. That's not good football business. So, I mean,
putting all your potatoes in one bag.
Yeah, that's true too. And a lot of money in 6 bags, compared to your whole team. So that's another thing. So, I mean, they got a lot of big contracts that they signed out. So you're going to have to find some field generals that can go out there and play.
Let's go, Mitch.
The one interesting thing is if the Rams win this game, it's going to be a fiasco down in Dallas on Monday. I can't wait to see it.
Me either. I'm on the Rams. I think the Rams are going to win. And you're right. I think it's going to, and especially if the Eagles win today. I mean, in reality, I don't have them winning. I got Washington beating them. But if Philly does win that game, oh, man, the sky will be falling down here in Dallas. The stars will be coming out. The stars at night will not be big and bright in Dallas. I got news for you, Cuervo. So, I mean, do you think the Dallas Cowboys are going to come back and figure out how to win this game?
Not today, they're not. I like the Rams, too.
I like the Rams, too. So that's going to take us to the last game as we're getting close to the top of the hour. We'll roll over for a couple minutes as the Indianapolis Colts and listen, the Saints are a good football team. And frankly, I think they're the team to beat in the NFC. I really do. I mean, we got some good football teams in the NFC. Don't get me wrong, but Drew Brees, I think that's a whole situation there. Peyton, the coach, he's been rumored to go back to Dallas for a long time. And with Jason Garrett's contract not going to get renewed, could open the door for Peyton to come in and start. This guy lives in Highland Park. He's got a house in Highland Park, so it's not like he wouldn't be at home here in Dallas. He used to coach here as well. That's the guy that the Dallas Cowboys really need to go after. And I think if that ends up happening, we're going to see a coach get a draft pick, a first-round draft pick. Because I'll tell you what, that's what's going to take to get Sean Payton out of New Orleans. And guess what? Jerry Jones.
Oh, without a doubt.
Jerry Jones will write that check in a second.
Oh, in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
He'd do it. Yeah, he would definitely do it.
Absolutely. So, so that being said, I look at this one and what's going on. I like the Saints. I like Indianapolis. And listen, I haven't been a Jacoby Brissett fan. Okay, I want to see him do it. Through the fourth game of next year. He said it earlier in the show. If he continues what he's doing into the fourth game of next year, then I'll give the guy his props. Until then, I can't do it. But you're playing in New Orleans, and this is going to be a game where you just might get wiped out. I mean, in reality, that defense is almost non-existent right now. Even though they're playing for the last 2 weeks, Indianapolis's defense has not been there. Then add up on the fact that Jacoby Brissett has not been playing all that great. You just got a major dumpster fire, car crash. What this is a car accident down the freeway. You won't have any choice but you'll sit there and stare and see how good the Saints do against the Indianapolis Colts there, Cuervo.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, I would have said, this is a really well matched. There you go, Cohen. Good job. That this would have been a pretty even matchup, but the Colts have. I agree. They've crapped the bed the past few weeks, and the Saints have continued to roll like they always do. So
Drew Brees coming off that injury, he's actually getting better. When he first came back, he had a good first game when he came back. Then he kind of dipped down for about 2 or 3 games. Now he's back on his way up. No one's stopping him right now.
Yep. Yeah, he's been playing lights out, and he's approaching that touchdown record too. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That is something, and that'll be all for when that ends up happening as well. So yeah, I'm on the Saints today. Just on the fact that Indianapolis right now does not have an identity. About 3 weeks ago, they did. There's just something happened. It just all broke down, and that they've lost sight of what they do best. So
there we go.
Did the Bears get in the end zone?
No, first down. We're marching down the field.
You got to feel good about that. But that being said, Dennis, who do you think? You got Indianapolis and New Orleans. Who you got in this one?
I've got the Saints on this one. I've always liked them. They're a good, aggressive team. I think they're solid. Yeah. And with that, I'm going to show you this here real quick. This is a sound card from Creative Labs. I have a laptop that sounds like crap. It now sounds wonderful, and a bargain at $25.
Man, wait! We didn't get any money for that spot.
I know. Yeah. Right there, bud.
Hey, here's a freebie.
It's called the Plate 3. It's a great one.
Shameless plug is what he's doing out there.
It's blatant because it does. I even sound better in here with this thing, so I like that.
And that takes a lot of work, so there you go. All right.
Yeah.
So, all right.
You guys have a great Sunday. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. That's Dennis Clark. That's my brother. And so we did it. We made it through 3 hours. We went a little bit over, and I got a wife who's yelling at me that you got to go get her from downtown Dallas. So that's going to do it for Cuervo. Anything before we're out of here?
I think we covered everything, Sonny. Everybody enjoy their Sunday. I already got the game on, so that's why I've been glancing up at the TV. But everybody enjoy their day.
Definitely. So that's going to do it. Yep.
Let's go.
Yeah. So that's going to do it for us on the Couch Potato Sports Show. We'll check you next week. We'll see how we all do in week 15. We're out here. Take care.
Welcome to the Couch Potato Sports Show,
your internet radio home for all sports, news, and talk.
Join Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio,
and the Eagle Eye,
Bill Cerna,
and the best co-host anyone could ask for,
Cuervo. We cover it all.
NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, as well as indoor football and high school sports.
Now, it's time. Here's Sonny Clark.